And the big man's back. www.thekidfrombrooklyn.com. That's right, baby. It's me. 2023 is over. And we're doing another one of these. Although I did draw some art for it. So, it's a little different. We get a little thing going on here. So, 2022, I would have called I've been doing like a little theme here, I don't think I've ever mentioned it, but 2020, the first time I did this was the year of Pikmin, right? That's the day. That was the year I played like damn near every Pikmin game. 2021 was the year I played like every Ace Attorney. It was the year of Ace Attorney. I played the original six, and then I got like a little ways through Great Ace. And then I didn't complete Great Ace until literally this year. So 2022 was the year of Half-Life, I think, because I played like most of the damn Half-Life games. And then this year I definitely finished those off. I finished off the Half-Life games because, well, this year I'm gonna say was year of the mod because I started playing a shit ton of mods around halfway through the year, I think. I just started playing a bunch of mods, or ROM hacks, or just like fan made adaptations. I like to call them, and we'll get into that. Obviously, when we get into that. But first things first, Payday 2. I thought it was a good game. Yeah, that was a good game. I think it is a good game to play with multiple people. I think alone it's just kind of whatever. I played it, I had my fun, I got the bad ending, and that's okay. That's okay, right? You know, it's okay. Payday 2 was pretty fun. I beat it in anticipation for Payday 3, and then Payday 3 was a steaming pile of shit. So, you know what? I'm just glad Payday 2 was good because I didn't even bother with Payday 3. I literally saw everything about it. I saw that it seemed just kind of like lamer Payday 2. It was missing a lot of it. Obviously, it didn't even fucking work on launch. And I have no idea how it's doing right now, but frankly, I have other games to play. And I think someone's car alarm just went off outside. This is the first time I'm doing this not in my parents' house, so this will be fun. Yep, that car alarm is definitely still going off. I'm also laying on a carpet right now. It's pretty fun. Got my big old jug of Tampa. Oh, good. Someone shut the car alarm off. All right. Moving on from Payday 2 is a game I actually have a lot to say about, which is Hotline Miami 2. Now, the first Hotline Miami I beat in 2022, and this one I beat in 2023. And yeah, it's nowhere near as good as the first one. I think it's definitely a case of like, well, let's make it longer, let's make it harder, and then the difficulty is just kind of harder. Like, it's not like more interesting in its difficulty. It's just the enemies are placed a bit cheaper. You have less options to deal with your like. At least in the first game, if you wanted to approach a level, you had the freedom to pick what mask you wanted, and that could change how it works. And I know that was like a last minute addition. I remember hearing that the masks were like, oh, we'll change it up, but it really gave you like some edge. And in this game, you get like 4 masks at most, like once. It's really not much freedom, and like I feel like it. That was one of my favorite aspects was the masks in the first game, which is crazy because of how late of an addition it was in the first game. But they really added like a lot. Like I would literally restart a level and just be like, I'm gonna do it with the mask, a different mask this time, because I like the horse one that opens and kills enemies when you open a door on them, and you could just keep opening the door and track enemies and open the door and kill them. It was fun. I loved that shit. It was so stupid. Uh, and this game just doesn't have any of that. And it's like, and honestly, I like the story a lot in Hotline Miami 2. I think it's really cool. I mean, spoilers, by the way. Obviously, huge fucking spoilers for everything here. I love the nuke finality of it all. And I think it's great that it kind of it doesn't attempt to be like, oh, Jacket's back. Like, you see him, he's there, you just never play as him. You play as everyone else. Like, damn near everyone else in that game. You play. And it's really cool to see Beard. Beard's levels were some of my favorite, which is funny because most people hate those levels, which is the Hawaii levels that's supposed to look like Vietnam. I loved those levels. I loved that you had to go like find ammo and shit, and you had a knife that kind of sucked. I thought it was really fun. I thought those were great. Uh, and then yeah, so Hotline Miami 2, it's not as good as 1. I still enjoyed it. I did. I thought it was a little tedious and frustrating though. I think that like it's not really built with longevity in mind. I think it's more built to tell a story, whereas Hotline Miami 1 is sort of like, this is a game that is going to stand the test of time. And Hotline Miami 2 is more like, this is a game that is going to be remembered fondly, but not as good, I'd like to say. So I liked it. I thought it was very fun, but I don't think it's as good as the first one. And that's what most people's opinions are. I'm not really breaking new ground here by saying Hotline Miami 2 isn't as good as the first one. Sorry, Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number, which is a really good name for a title, by the way. Like, unironically, something like Electric Boogaloo is a good name for a sequel, but Wrong Number is really good for the word Hotline Miami, you know? Anyways, Franken RPG. Now, this was a game I only played because, like, I think Donkey played it, and it was free. It was like a free game. You could just play on the internet, and thank God, because this game was so fucking funny. I wish he hadn't spoiled 50% of the jokes in it, because I wish it's one of those games I just kind of wish you just go in blind on, because I think that's what really like makes it something special. Otherwise, it's just sort of, like, it doesn't have much other than here's a RPG parody, except this one is played like as bare bones as you possibly can get. And I loved it. I thought it was fucking awesome. I thought it was hilarious. I laughed my ass off. There's so many good bits. And I'm glad that I had watched the Donkey video so long ago, because I had forgotten most of the bits. And then I rewatched the Donkey video thinking he did something I missed, and he did like the exact same playthrough as I did, because it's a short game and there's really like, at a certain point, there's not much that you can do. But it was just a really cute little game. I highly recommend you play it. It's a game where you marry Frankenstein. What? Like, are you kidding me? And it's like, obviously, it's just this fucking parody of Dragon Quest and other RPGs of that caliber, but just taken to the logical extreme. Like, you literally can't, it's like it literally gatekeeps you from beating certain enemies, because it's you take a hit, and then the enemy takes a hit, and then you take a hit, and the enemy takes a hit, and if you have more health than the enemy, you win. That's literally the battling system. It's terrible. It sucks. I love it. Yeah, but for just a short free game, masterpiece. All right, masterpiece. Okay, next up, I played Subway Midnight. By the way, I played the most I've played of any game. I played 45 games this year, which is up from 43 last year, so not a significant amount. Like, 2021, I played 35 games. So, and then, 2021 I played 35. 2020 I only played 19. So, not a lot of games, obviously. 19 to 35 was a pretty significant jump. 35 to 43 was less significant, and 43 to 45, well, I think I finally hit the max amount of games I like to try and beat in a year. I think 40 is the thing to shoot for, and if I can hit that, sweet. It means I had a good amount of games I played, because there's a lot of games I want to play, but also I want to be able to, like, savor games. I don't want to, like, rush through them, and Subway Midnight was great, because I got everything there was to get out of it. I got everything. I did all this, the endings. I got all of the, like, I got the original ending where you, like, just get killed. The good ending, right, where you get to turn, where, like, you get to save the two main characters, and then the best ending where no one dies. Although I think the main woman goes to charity or something. I don't fucking know. It's a weird ass game, and I remember the first time I almost didn't play this because Nitro Rad, who was like a YouTuber I watched, was like really hard on this game, and I don't understand. I think it's a fantastically charming game. It's very simple. I was able to figure out almost everything without a walkthrough. Once I realized that you just needed to, like, I figured out first from my friend that you needed to play the game on midnight to get the special ending. But that was it. That was the only thing. Now, I'm stupid as fuck, by the way. I am so fucking stupid. I love butting my head up against the wall and being like, why won't the wall move? Type ass, head ass. And so the fact that I didn't need a walkthrough for any of this, I felt kind of goated. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of up. I was like, hey, we kind of up. You know what I'm saying? And so I felt pretty good, knowing that I didn't need a walkthrough for any of this shit. So Subway Midnight, and also the art style is really good. I love the art style of this game. I love that it's 2D. I love the fucking goofy ass, scary, like, I guess, like, I don't know. This is like kind of an insult. It kind of like reminds me of like a Tumblr art style, and I know that might sound like an insult, but it's like a really high compliment. I think it like totally works. I like the 2D characters. I like that you just keep walking through things over and over again. I like that it's horror. There's like one room in the beginning that's kind of like randomly generated, and there's not really jump scares. Like there's like two, I think, like in the whole thing, and those were kind of like genuinely spooky. And I don't like jump scares very much. I'm a pussy, a pussy, a pussy. But Subway Midnight was very fun, and I had my fun playing Subway Midnight. Obviously, Subway Midnight is like really fucking cheap, and it like hasn't really gotten anything about it. Like it's sort of dropped, and I don't know what else the dev's doing. Also, it was a game that didn't have any achievements, which is really weird. I feel like there should be achievements for it, but there wasn't on Steam. So, okay, whatever. Maybe I don't know. That just felt weird. Okay, then I played with my buddy Cloudhead. Let's go, baby. My buddy Cloudhead. We played A Way Out together. Now this was. I hate the ending of A Way Out. I genuinely do. I hate that it's just like no matter what, one of you has to die. There's no good ending type beat. Like one of the characters is a dirty fucking cop who's been going through hell with this criminal, and like it really just depends on who wins in the end. Whoever gets the good ending. I hate that bullshit. I know it's like a tragedy or some shit. I don't care. That shit's lame. Get this crap out of my face. I want these two buddies to hang out, get married, fuck their wives, fuck their children. They got revenge on the crime boss. You know what I'm saying? And then they go this whole bullshit where one of them's trying to track the other one down, and it's just like when you get to that part where it's like you and the other guy against each other. I don't even remember their names. I just remember them. One of them had some killer sideburns, and I loved that shit. That shit was cool. I got to play the guy with killer sideburns, and then the other guy with the goatee betrays them. And I remember being like, no. My friend played the guy with the goatee, and I remember he was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to betray you. We were doing the right thing. And I was like, at that point, I was like, this game is some bullshit. But before that part, before the big betrayal, it's a pretty fun game. It's one of those games that I feel like really has to be two players, where you and a buddy can riff on the game. And that's like a very special thing that if you have a good buddy, and Cloudhead's a good buddy, if you have a good buddy. Oh, by the way, Cloudhead, I saw that post on that you sent me on Discord about Ace Attorney, and I feel bad because like I like woke up in the morning and I saw it, and then I didn't respond to it because I was like half asleep, and then I put my phone down, and then I forgot because by that point the notification was on, and so I saw it like 3 days later. I was gonna message you something. I saw that you had like sent me this, and I didn't respond to it. So I was like, oh, I feel so guilty about that shit because Cloud is my good buddy. But yeah. Anyway, A Way Out was fun. It's great to play with a friend. There's all these like stupid fucking mini games that are programmed in. And I love when games do that. I love when games have mini games. Those are like my favorite thing a game could do is have a little game in the game, and the little game in the game is like really fun and addictive, and like it just kind of is. It's like an infinite game, and it just builds character. And it's like to have that's the other thing. It's like having these characters go through like legit arcs, and then one of them has to die in the end. I despise that shit. That shit sucks. And I'm sure It Takes Two is better. just because it's not doing any of that crap. Now, so A Way Out, I liked it. I thought it was very fun. I don't think it's very deep. Uh, Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Now, this game is one half of a two-sided coin. You see, I think this game, if just by itself, is like a perfectly fine Ace Attorney game. The problem is that this game, now thankfully, I played it. I played it on the Switch. I played the Switch version, the re-release, where in like 2021, which is both great Ace Attorney games put together. Which like you kind of have to play them like that because this literally is just part one to a two-part story, and nothing makes sense at all. And so I kind of don't even want to talk about this until we get to Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, because that's when everything comes together. Because in this, okay, one thing I will say about this game that I think is actually really cool is that it's the only game where you resolve the whole murder mystery without ever taking anyone to court. It has a whole segment in this game where it's just you on a boat. Ugh, Jesus. Anyway, it's got a whole segment where it's just you on a boat, and you're solving them, and you're solving it, and Sherlock Holmes is there. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Sherlock Holmes. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me. Oh, you don't understand. The fucking estate. The Sir Conan Doyle estate. They've broken in. They've got a gun pointed to my head. They say you said his name. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm in Sherlock Holmes. I'm sorry. And so yeah. So anyway. So Sherlock Holmes, who by the way, I think honestly I kind of like more. I'm not gonna lie, because they call him Hurley, like fucking vomiting. That's just funny as hell. But yes. So obviously, without the second game, it's kind of a impossible game. Like I can't even really talk about the story or what I liked about it, because by the end of this, I was like a little worried. I was like, oh, they're not doing what I think they're going to do here, and they don't, thank God. But like, they could have. So we'll get to that when we get to that. I want to talk about the game of the year. Hell, one of my new favorite games of all fucking time. Pizza motherfucking Tower, baby. Now, I have been following this game for a while. I mean, I had known about it, and I was like, I like Wario Land 4. Wario Land 4 is in my top, like, 20 favorite games of all time, right? It's up there, And this game is better than Wario Land 4, a fan-made project that is inspired by Wario Land 4, among other things. Don't get me wrong, it's inspired by a lot of things, and I'm not gonna lie, it is better than the sum of its parts. Like, it is genuinely better than Sonic, which is one of his inspirations. It's better than Wario, which is one of his inspirations. It's better than it's better than goddamn... No, I can't say that. There's a different medium. I'm gonna get a lot of people angry. But, I mean, just in terms of just, like, overall quality, I like it more than the art style, old Nicktoons that its art style is based on. Like, and hell, even like Courage the Cowardly Dog a little bit. Although I do like Courage the Cowardly Dog a lot, so I feel like that's gonna be the one part where I can't be like, oh, this is better than this. But Pizza Tower is so fucking good. Holy shit! It's the only game this year that would like I had to go out of my way to 100%. Like other games this year that I've 100%, and I've marked them. I did so just because I was like, oh, might as well, it's close, or it's Pikmin 4, which that was a different story, obviously. But, like, this is, I mean, it's just obviously my game of the year. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what else could it fucking be? It's perfect. I love every level. I love every enemy. I love all the sound effects they're so perfectly chosen. Like, I just say, like the fucking taunt, the fucking Pizza Tower taunt. I just say it sometimes. I just do it. It's a stim now. It's a stim. I can't remember the last time a modern game gave me a stim. It's usually like older games with like weirder sound effects that give you stim. But this game just gets it, man. It just gets it, bro. It was out here in the fucking trenches, bro, giving me fucking fantastic vibes, fantastic gameplay. It made me want to P rank everything. I beat it for the first time and I was like, okay, I think this was really good and I really liked it. And I kept thinking about it, bro. I was thinking about it. I was like, there's no way, dude. I never go for like the top ranks in this in games like this because that's just not who I am as a gamer. I'm a guy who's like, I gotta get on to the next game. I can't be sitting around here with this game. You know what I'm saying? And so, for a game to so thoroughly sink its fucking teeth into me, command my attention, and say, all right, now you like this game. Do all of it. And so I did all of it. I got every achievement. I got every P rank. I did it. I beat every boss without getting hit. It was a painful experience sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Some of those bosses, kind of the worst part. But you know what? God damn it. I loved Pizza Tower, man. And hell, when they dropped that Halloween update, you better believe within 3 hours I reclaimed my all achievements obtained thing. And then there's going to be DLC for it coming out this year. So we'll see how I feel about that. But I know it's going to be awesome. So yeah, Pizza Tower, obviously Game of the Year, which is a shame because there's so many good games that came out this year. But, I mean, none of them could be Pizza Tower. And that's fine, Hey, and that's fine too. You know what I'm saying, baby? That's okay. Not every game can be Pizza Tower. This game is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where the game comes out, it's just kind of perfect. Like, it's just kind of perfect. Right out the gate, it's kind of perfect. It's just got everything I could ever want out of a game. It's just replayable. It's responsive. It's like not too hard. It's not too frustrating. You can kind of cruise through the game and settle for like C ranks or whatever as long as you find all the top-ins. It's really like and like beat the bosses obviously. It just is so good, bro. I love it. I love Pizza Tower. I'm not even the biggest fan, I mean, I guess I'm working on a mod for it, so maybe I am, but we'll see if that mod ever gets released. I don't know. So yeah, that's just obviously my game of the year. And I always try to pick game of the years that are from the year that it came out. But like this was my favorite game I played all year. So, it was January. So it's all downhill from here, assholes. But no, that's not true. Because after this, I played. This was when the Game Boy expansion came for Nintendo Switch, and I paid $20 a month because I play online. I still play Smash Brothers like a fucking idiot. So, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. I beat it in a single day. It was very quick. I didn't even use any save states. Like, I legit just beat it because it was really easy. I don't know. I was like, it's a good game. But when I beat it, I got to Wario and I beat him and I was like, oh, that's it? Like, that was it. Like, there was no more. And then I was just like, wait, that's it? And then I wasn't. There was no, like, post-game or anything. It just kind of ended. And it was just like that. It was over. And I wasn't, like, upset. It was really fun. And I'm glad that I think there really is something to say about a short game, but holy shit, this game was short. I guess it's supposed to be replayable, but I mean, as far as I'm aware, I did everything. But I did love it. I thought it was really creative. For the first Wario, I love how fucking ugly Wario is in this game. In fact, I kind of wish he looked like this more often. His like huge fucking head. He's like a complete like joke of a fucking loser character. And then you take his castle back, and then. And the power ups are kind of cool. And then the big robot Mario. That's really cool. Again, I just think that I would say that Mario platformers aren't as 2D Mario isn't as imaginative as this, but that's literally not true. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But after Super Mario Land 2, which perfectly fine game, is just. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Also, Mario's sprite looks weird. I don't know. I don't like how he looks. He looks kind of like gangly a little bit. It's hard to explain. Don't worry about it, though. Because now we're moving on to Black Mesa, which is the Half-Life 1 remake. So I was curious about this, and I think I got it gifted to me. After I replayed Half Life last year, I was just like, ooh, I'm in that Half Life kick. And then I was like, wait a minute, Black Mesa. And I liked it a lot. I thought it was very good. I think it is definitely for like someone who isn't used to like early 90s shooter jank. I've been playing early. Like my dad has a lot of early 90s shooters, so I've played most of the old OG ones, Half-Life, Halo 1, Quake, and Doom, the original Doom, cuz he had all of those. He was like an early PC gamer, and then he had kids and he stopped playing games. So for when I was growing up, I would just play a lot of these games. I had fun playing a lot of them. But I think that if you haven't played these and you are not familiar with the intricacies and the muscle memory that comes with them, play Black Mesa instead, because Half-Life 1 is so frustrating sometimes. It's got so much jank about it. Like there's just some bullshit in Half-Life you just kind of have to deal with. And thankfully, Black Mesa smooths out a little bit. And Black Mesa does something really interesting. Well, first of all, it adds a lot of achievements, which I like a lot. I like getting achievements. They're very fun. Half-Life 1 on Steam, no achievements. You raw dog that shit. Even after the update, because there was like a big 25th anniversary thing for Half-Life that came out this year, because, it was Half-Life uh, anniversary. And so I didn't play Half-Life again, don't worry. I'm not stupid. But, I paused to take a sip of my water. I did play some other Half-Life games, so we'll get to those. But yeah, Black Mesa, it feels like, okay, the voice actors being different is the one thing where I was just like, y'all, just get the regular voice actors. If Valve is like approving this product, I get that they were probably low on funding, but what is some of these, like, what's his name, like Steven Shapiro or something? I almost want to say Ben Shapiro. I know his last name's Shapiro. The guy who voices G-Man. The guy that get to voice G-Man in this bitch, dog, this ain't it. They try their best, and I understand, but I'm paying money for this. All right, this is not free. We've reached the point where I cannot criticize this because it's a fan project, because I paid money for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, some of the acting is kind of whatever. But ultimately, I really like what they did, and it's interesting because while the first everything up till Zen, if very faithful remake of Half Life. It smooths some edges. It adds some stuff. Also, the narrator for Stanley Parable is a voice actor in this game, and it's really obvious if you're listening for it. I picked it up because I'd play Ultra Deluxe last year, but he did voice recording for this game way the fuck back when, way before Stanley Parable was even made. And then Stanley Parable gets made, and that's what he's known for. And it's so weird, hearing that voice in this game. It's just like, oh my god, that's the Stanley Parable narrator. And he's just like some guy in Black Mesa. It's so fucking funny. It's such a good bit. I love it. But ultimately, I think what they did with Zen is interesting because I'm of two opinions about it. One thing is surface tension as a Half-Life level always bugs the shit out of me because it's so fucking long, alright? Surface tension is like 3 times as long as every other level in Half-Life 1 for no goddamn reason. I understand it's doing this whole thing where it's like, oh wow, blah, 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 boom, 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 but you have to do this, you have to just do so much shit. And then they decided to take the 3 Zen levels available and make them all the length of surface tension. I mean, those last bitches, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play. Because the thing is, if this wasn't a remake, I wouldn't be bugged because it would make sense. But since it is a remake, I was going in like, okay, I'm at Zen. I'm gonna get through these levels. I'm gonna face off against the Nihilith. I'm gonna go to bed. And I was up until 7 in the morning because those levels just went on forever. And I almost just didn't appreciate it. I just wish I knew going in that they were gonna be way goddamn longer than they originally were, because then I would have been on that shit. But I would have been like, all right, I'm gonna beat the first one and then go to bed, wake up, conquer Gorant's lair, you know how it is, and then I'll face off, and then we'll do this final kitchen caboodle, you know. And also, the final boss, I like a hell of a lot more. The final boss of the original Half Life kind of sucked ass. I understand that it was like lore reasons, it was kind of cool, but the original Nihilith, I was just kind of like they don't really convey what you have to do. Black Mesa's Nihilith is cool as hell. I liked it quite a bit. I was very happy about it. So yeah, it ended on a high note ultimately, even though it was really late. But in terms of games, Black Mesa was very good, and I was very glad I played it. Next up, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. So I've never actually played the original Return to Dreamland. It was something I was gonna do, and then things happened, and I didn't do it. And I won't say any more on that. But Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, was fucking awesome. So I played with Lionel, who had played Return to Dreamland, the OG one, and so he was able to point out the little differences. And also, he's just a huge Bangalore fan. And at first, I was like, "He's trying to get the appeal, you know. He's a little evil guy." But like, okay, all the like, so is Marx, and I love Marx, Karl Marx, minus the anti-Semitism, and Marx from Kirby. I like them both. They both real as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And so I was thinking, what makes Magalore so special? But here's the thing: Marx is an agent of chaos. Magalore is a little shit. And those are very different vibes. And I think Magalore. See, here's the thing: I get it now only because the Magalore epilogue is so good. Okay, Lionel just said he likes villains that are very feral. So just that's why I paused right there because I heard him say he's in the other room talking to some people in VR chat because we live together now. So for these future videos, come 2024's review, he's probably gonna be in the background. He's still gonna be on VR chat. That motherfucker never changes. I love him. Anyways, so Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, very good. Magalore Epilogue, even better. The Magalore Epilogue is so fucking good. I played that shit sleep deprived and I was enjoying that shit. What is it with me playing games sleep deprived? First Black Mesa, then literally the very next game, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Played that shit sleep deprived. That shit kind of kicked ass. It was pretty good. Anyways, I liked Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. And I love the Magalore Epilogue because I just think the leveling system and getting powers and then using those to progress just kicks the shit out of the regular Kirby. Like, I kind of just want a whole game that's like this. Just give me a Magalore game. Why y'all doing this whole, like, Kirby sucks up enemies type beat? Just give me another game that doesn't have Kirby as the main character, following Magalore or whatever. Because I honestly like the Magalore epilogue just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? If that was kind of real, you know? And, like, I'm sure it's got some interesting lore things. I don't care about that. I'm here for the motherfucking gameplay. I still think Kirby and the Forgotten Land is my favorite Kirby game currently. I just think it's just like a damn near perfect game for Kirby. But this was really good too. I really see the hype. I know they changed a lot about it. I know they added sand and mech, which are like, I'm not gonna lie, kind of busted. Like, sand can make you invincible, and mech just does a shitload of damage. So I mean, you know, it's kind of nuts. But yeah, very good game. Next up, I played 2D and Top D. Now this was a very fun, weird game, and it's interesting because the first, so it's split into 5 worlds, and the first world is like booty butt cheeks easy, and then the second world's kind of harder, and then the third one just ramps the fucking difficulty up, like it's like a puzzle game, and I'm okay at puzzle games. I'm not amazing. You know, I can play all the Ace Attorney games, you know, without much trouble, you know. I Spy Spooky Mansion, I mean, you know, that's my bitch, right? Like, straight up, you know. But, like, when it comes to, you know, I mean, like, you know, I can do the word of the day, you know, but a crossword puzzle, you know, I'm kind of, you know, tugging on my collar, you know what I'm saying? But this game kicked my ass, bro. I had to watch I'm a big enough man to admit
but I'm busting out the YouTube tutorial. All right, I had to bust out the YouTube tutorial for this one. Around World 4, I just had no fucking clue what I was doing for some of these goddamn things. The crow enemy, it's all these really specific solutions, and that's fine. I just didn't feel like the difficulty ramped up naturally. I feel like it was just like, here's an easy level, fuck you. You know, I just feel like it didn't prepare me for what it was throwing at me. I didn't understand its game. It was cooking too hard. Its bitch was too bad. You know what I'm saying? All in all, it was a very fun game. And the fifth world is very good and definitely earns its fucking spot. Like, I love that little last like twist that it throws at you. And the story itself is like, I'm not sure if it wasn't taking itself too seriously or was trying to be serious. It's definitely got like a lot of moving parts, which is the nicest way I can say I've already forgotten about what happens in it, but I know they were trying to have a story. So props for trying, but I don't even remember what the fuck was going on in this. Now, granted, this is the 11th game of 45, so you know it's not exactly taking up a lot of rent in my head, but you know I really had a lot of fun with it, and I definitely recommend you play it because just the mechanic of swapping between two guys and having them work together to help, especially I feel like also I just feel like 2D gets less to do than top D because top D can move shit, whereas 2D is just kind of like, oh, and then he jumps and then he jumps and then he jumps. I feel like it's like, oh, top D's doing all the shit and then 2D is kind of like reacting to it, but that's fine too. It's not a two-player game, though it would be kind of fucking cool if it was. I feel like that's the only way you can really change some of the shit is if top D and 2D controlled separately. You could have some really interesting puzzles, but maybe that's for a sequel. I don't know. But number 12, I played Superliminal. Now, this was a game that I had been told like it was really fun by like two different people. My boy Cloudhead and my new buddy Cullen. And we were both, and he was like, "Yo, you gotta play this game. This came at a perfect time." I played it, and I saw the twist coming, and that was the worst fucking feeling. I was like, "Yeah, no, not really. Like, I mean, you know, this is probably just some bullshit." And then I saw the twist coming, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." They thought they were cooking with this one, and I feel so bad because I really appreciate it as a twist. I think it's like really cool, but I was just like, okay, but this is still part of the simulation, you know. To be fair, this is something they do in therapy too. You know, this is so I don't know, as someone who's been to therapy, I know that this is like a trick they do, and I don't want to say trick because that's kind of fucked up, but this is like a method they have in therapy. Uh, so I kind of was like, okay, maybe they're doing this, and then they were. So hey, whatever, that's cool too. Uh, which is, you know, they give the patient the illusion of control and then be like, actually, we were in control the whole time. Although they usually don't say that second part, but you know, regardless, superliminal is a very fun concept. And you know, the thing is I got this one, I got it mixed up with Viewfinder, which the one where you take the photos and then you put the photos on the real world and then the photos get added to the real world. I thought that was a mechanic in Superliminal, and I was waiting for it to show up. And when it didn't, I was like, "Yo, wait, where is it? Where?" Because the initial gimmick of like you pick up something and it gets bigger and smaller, you know, the farther it is away from you, is a good bit. It's really good. And I was like, okay, yeah, Viewfinder just is. I'm like, but then I was like, wait, no. And then I looked up footage of Viewfinder and the chatty fucking protagonist, and I was like, well, thank God I wasn't playing this game. But yeah, no, and because I actually really did like the soothing British guy, uh, and the girl too. They were both good, and I also like how there's a whole horror segment with no jump scares. It's all like you think it's gonna be horror, and then it's like paint. You think it's blood, ooh, paint. And I was so ready for a jump scare because I was like, oh, yeah, they might do this. And they didn't. And I was very happy about that. So thank you, Superliminal, for no jump scares, but give me the illusion of a jump scare. Because I hate jump scares. Oobity doobity doo. Next game I played was Game Boy Donkey Kong. And when I say Game Boy Donkey Kong, I mean like Game Boy Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Land. No, I mean the one, Donkey talked about it once. Once again, I'll come back to motherfucking Donkey. I promise not all the time. But Game Boy Donkey Kong. So Donkey Kong, you know, the OG Donkey Kong arcades.
gets a not a remake, but just like a sequel, but it's also called Donkey Kong. It's nothing like the original Donkey Kong. Like the first four levels are there, but Mario has an expanded move set, and you could just clear the original levels in like no time flat, and it becomes what would eventually become Mario versus Donkey Kong, which would eventually become like the fucking like Mario with the little tiny little Mario robots versus the little Donkey Kong, which that's a whole other thing. I'm not crazy about that, but I do fuck with this game real heavily. I played this. The way I played this was kind of crazy. So my buddy, DNAX16, that's his username on YouTube. He might go by something else now. I'm not exactly sure. But I went to college. This was my last year in college, and I was like, I'm gonna go out with a bang. And so he brought this like fucking 5 terabyte ass hard drive full of pirated games. And for some reason, my ass singled out Donkey Kong for the Game Boy on it, and I was like, "Yo, I gotta finish this." And so for days, I would just like every time he came over, I was like, "Yo, set that shit up. I'm playing Game Boy Donkey Kong." And I would, and I had this little crowd of people that came around me watching me play and style on these levels and struggle and strive and build up a shitload of levels at the beginning, a shitload of lives at the beginning, and slowly whittle through them come the end. And it was like kind of invigorating. I was out there. I was like, yeah, this is what's up. This is kind of crazy. And I was having the time of my life. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. I was really out there living my shit, you know? And it was like, is this how they felt on the arcade? I had this epiphany where I was like, is this how they felt in the arcades when someone was doing real well and they were at like a really high level and like they had this crowd of people surrounding them watching them play this game? And it must have been how it felt. And so thank you, Game Boy Donkey Kong, for completely accidentally recreating the feel of an arcade, your Arcadian predecessor, through no fault of your own. You just kind of happened by complete coincidence. Very fun game. Final boss, giant Donkey Kong. Very fun boss. Very frustrating boss. It's one of those bosses where multiple phases, you get hit once you're dead, but like you have to not get hit at all. And it's so easy to lose and die. And I didn't have like save states or anything because I refused to put them on because it's Game Boy Donkey Kong. So I had to just take the L constantly. And like I made DNX16 feel bad. I felt bad for him because he was like, I gotta go to work, and I was like, well, hold on a second, I'm almost done, and then yeah, I was not done, and I think I'm in late for his job, but he's fine now, I'm sure. So it all worked out in the end. Anyways, Poi. Now, this was a game I started way the fuck back when. I must have been like, when did it come out? It came out around the same time as Hat in Time. And I remember I played it then, and I was like, it's okay, you know? And then I put it down, and I played Hat in Time, and I had really fun with that. I had a lot of fun with it. I still think Hat in Time is like, it's whatever, but like, Poi was just sort of like the poor man's Hat in Time to me. And Hat in Time was already just poor man's Super Mario Sunshine. And Super Mario Sunshine is poor man's Mario 64. And Mario 64, well, we'll see what that's the poor man's of soon. But Poi was pretty good, all things considered. I think it's a collectathon game where you actually collect a lot of things and you fill up a big scrapbook of stuff. So it's closer to Banjo-Kazooie than Mario 64. But, you know, you don't actually use a lot of those collectibles for anything other than just for the sake of collecting them. So I guess it is more like Mario 64, honestly, other than like for progression. But like, you know, at least in Banjo Kazooie, you actually use those like as like power ups or for abilities or something. Like the collections mean something, you know. But in this, you just find stuff and you give it to NPCs, and like it just kind of is by the numbers. But I found myself enjoying the level design enough that I was like, well, might as well see this to the end. And it was perfectly serviceable. It really wasn't anything special. And that was about the impression I got in the very first level. And I should have just been like, well, I'm kind of glad I beat it, I guess. The levels, the speed run levels, not the speed run levels, but the levels where you have to like go through them. There's like a secret in every one. I liked those. I thought those were very fun and very well done. and I wish more of the game was like that because I do think just by default, Poi does have a very cool control scheme. I think it's very Mario 64 esque, but it's not like just Mario 64. I think it's got a decent flow to it. Uh, and I mean, that's about it. Really, there's not much else to say. I thought, the aesthetic of some of the levels was kind of cool, but I was kind of struggling to remember a lot of them. I remember the fire world. I remember getting stuck in there. I remember the layout of that being kind of cool, and there was like a boss in it, and that was kind of cool. But yeah, I was just kind of whatever. And then Halo 3, baby, Halo 3. Now, I am of the belief that Halo 1 is better than Halo 2. Still. But Halo 2 is really fucking good. So where's Halo 3? I want to say it's about on the same level as Halo 2, where I still think Halo 1's better, just by pure. But I think that Halo 3 is not as janky as Halo 2, which I think gives it an edge a little bit. But also, I think it's less memorable than Halo 2, where like Halo 2, all those levels were like super fucking cool and memorable and like damn near timeless. And there's a lot of them too, so it's like they have to really leave an impression on you. When you play as, you switch between Master Chief and the Arbiter, and in this, it's you play as both of them together, and that's really cool. I love them teaming up. If they don't say much, I love that Sergeant Johnson is here, even though he's like a damsel in distress a lot. That's okay. That's cool. And then they really are like, yeah, okay, this is the final Halo game because they start killing off motherfuckers left and right like it's nobody's business. Miranda Keys, dead. Sergeant Johnson, dead. The Flood, eradicated. The Covenant, our allies. Master Chief, in stasis or whatever. And so, as a campaign, fantastic. I love when the OG Halo theme kicks in. When you playing this with a buddy is like the only way to play this properly, for real. Because you and the Arbiter, I mean, you're like those guys. One's the Arbiter, one's Chief, both working together. Real as fuck, let me tell you. It's so fun playing together. And when you on that Warthog and you making it the fuck out of there, it ain't much like it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't much like it. Halo 3, pretty damn good. Which makes it all the more shameful when I say that we played Halo 4 like right damn after it, and that game was kind of dookie. I'm not gonna lie. It had some cool elements. Don't get me wrong. I like that you get to pilot a mech, like they got a mech, and you can pilot it around and blow shit up. That's kind of cool. I like some of the new weapons. I actually do think the Forerunner weapons or whatever the fuck they're called, that are like all futuristic and shit. I mean, they all the weapons are good, but these are like a bunch of moving parts and shit and can like disintegrate motherfuckers. Cool. I genuinely think they're pretty cool. I think that the enemies they throw at you are pretty interesting, but that story mode and that ending, dude, it sucks. It's so lame. Imagine you kill the fucking final boss in a quick time event. I mean, it's in a quick time event. What the fuck? At least in Halo 2, for as shitty as the final boss in Halo 2 was, because he was just annoying and a bullet sponge, at least he was a boss. Like, at least you fought that motherfucker. In this one, it's you as Master Chief, walk up to the motherfucker, put a plasma grenade in his dumbass, and blow him up. And that's how it ends. Oh, it's not even a plasma grenade. Sorry, it's like the new grenade they introduced, which I don't even remember what it's called, because it wasn't as cool as the plasma grenade. But, yeah. And then he's dead, and you never see his ass again. So, yeah. Halo 4 is definitely not directed by Bungie. See, that's like the elephant in the room here, is that this is the first one by 343, and immediately the vibes are kind of off. I'm not even going to lie. And I'd almost say it's okay, but Halo 4's campaign is also really short. Like, it's shorter than Halo 1's campaign. I'm pretty sure it's like the shortest one. And it was definitely a little rushed. I do feel like it. And there's like obvious moments like I just was not vibing with it, man. And like I'm sure there are people that say Halo 4 is like really good or some shit, but I just, other than sprinting, which I know was in Halo Reach, I haven't finished that one yet. Me and some friends are still playing that. We still need to finish that. But other than Halo Reach, other than sprinting becoming a universal thing instead of like a power up that you can get like in Reach, Halo 4 didn't really add much. It's like some quality of life stuff, and the graphics are pretty, but there's just little things about it that I'm just like, yeah, this kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't like that the grunts don't speak English anymore. They're just like little. They go like they sound more serious and less fun. And I think half of the charm of Halo is that it knows when to be serious, but it also knows when to just have some fun. It's not afraid to be a little goofy and a little silly, and I respect it for that. I think it deserves props for allowing itself to be a little silly. I think that's too many times games. I'm like Martin Luther King standing up on the fucking the Lincoln Memorial. Like, one day I dreamed that this is a terrible bit. I'm so sorry. This is a terrible bit. I'm not doing this. I'm not finishing this bit. I'm moving on. Fuck this. Fuck this. I played Halo. I played fucking Portal Reloaded. I played Portal Reloaded. All right, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty good. I think it's definitely a fan game vibe. It's definitely a mod for Portal, all right, and it's free. This is definitely the first mod I played, and it's not the last. Uh, but Portal Reloaded, I'd started it the year before. I started in 2022. I got stuck because it is a fucking puzzler, dude. This game is hard. Like, the thing about Portals 1 and 2 is that they are so much fun and they are not like challenging. Like, the puzzles are pretty easy. There's like one that might have you scratching your head in like both of the games, and that's it, really. Like, unless you're like this is your first video game you've ever played, the puzzles are pretty chill. The puzzles in Portal Reloaded don't fuck around, dude. They are kicking your ass, and I know there's multiple ways to solve it. Like, I solved one, and they were like, "You did not solve this in the intended way. Good job." And it was just like, there's multiple ways of solving these puzzles. I didn't like it. I don't like it. And I remember I was like, dude, it was so fucked up because I was watching like a tutorial for the final puzzle because I was so fucking stumped on it. Now, granted, that was the only time I had to use a tutorial, so I felt pretty good about that. Every other time I just like kind of cheesed my way through it because I'm pretty familiar with the source engine at this point in my life. But like, beating it was like really intense because I watched it, and then the guy in the thing was like, and then you can do this, and it's a bit of a cheese, but it works. And then I was ready to do it in the regular level, and then I noticed that the developers had edited the level. Like, they had edited it so that you couldn't do the cheese tactic, and so I had to go and look up a whole other tutorial that didn't use the cheese tactic and beat it in the intended way. And I felt like such an idiot because I kind of would have liked to do it the cheese way because I love cheesing stuff. It's so much fun to cheese stuff. But you'll see why I like cheesing stuff later. But in a later level game. So yeah, Portal Reloaded was fun. I love the ending of Portal Reloaded, by the way. The ending of Portal Reloaded, where you get to choose to leave, only to be dropped into the Half-Life world. Because yeah, again, that shit's also happening at the same time, and head crabs attack your ass and you presumably fucking die, is perfect because of course that would totally fucking happen. Like, yeah, duh. You're honestly better off in Aperture Science, like, straight up, than compared to the fucking combine infested goddamn hellscape that is the Half-Life world. It's so fucking funny to me that that's how it ends, and that actually I really respect it. Next, I played everyone's favorite fucking meme game, Metal Gear Rising. So this is the second Metal Gear game I've played outside of Ground Zeroes, Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes, and I cannot wait to play more of these games. I just need to get around to them, honestly. This was fucking fun. I sound like I have a gun to my head, but trust me when I say Metal Gear Rising, I don't think I really got the most out of it. I definitely haven't done everything in it, but I got to the credits. I beat Senator Armstrong after a long and grueling fucking battle with him, but I beat him. I could say in the year of our Lord 2023, I beat the meme guy. I beat Senator Armstrong. I just booted up the game. I beat Senator Armstrong, and it was fucking fun. I liked it.
I liked it. I realized that I beat Sundowner the unintentional way, where I didn't even get to the second phase of his fight. I just kind of beat Sundowner, called it a day, and moved on. Yeah, and it was like, but also, dude, also the quick time events are so annoying because I'm never sure when they're gonna pop up, and then they do, and I just don't like quick time events, and I don't play games with them in them. So this one having quick time events is really annoying. And then, you know, but it was fun. It was a fun game. I enjoyed my time with it. I do not. I also don't really care for the fact that you have to fight two of the same bosses over again after you just like fought them in the previous two levels. But other than that, I mean, it was a really good game. I really liked it. And I like the So here's the thing: is that I was like, I want to say I like the fact that you can choose the boss's weapons, but at the same time, I only ever used the staff of arms as a weapon. I only ever fucking used it that one because it was great for long range shit. It was perfect. I loved that, and everything else I was just like, well, yeah, I mean, it's all right. You know, I don't like use it or anything, but you know, Metal Gear Rising, it was a fun game. I'm glad I played it. Now, right after Portal Reloaded, my buddy Kaze hits me up. Now, me and him, we had played Halo 1 together, Halo 2 together, Halo 3 together, and Halo 4 together. And he was like, I'm itching for some more Halo. Let's play a mod I discovered called Cursed Halo Again. Now, I didn't know what the fuck to expect because he was the one who had seen all the trailers for this shit. This is a wacky ass mod of Halo 1. So, again, Halo Combat Evolved is still like my favorite Halo game. It's still in my like top 20 favorite games of all time, easily. I think it might even be in the top 10. Now, it might be 11. I'm not actually sure. Again, Pizza Tower kind of bumped it out, I think, at the top 10, actually. But Cursed Halo Again is such an interesting thing because it has a lot of really funny ideas, but it also is so prone to crashing that a lot of those, like, okay, you experience it once, you have a good time, become fucking tedious by the fifth time because your game crashed because it's not exactly built around multiplayer. And I kind of like it's fun. Multiplayer is fun, but some things weren't built with multiplayer in mind. Like there are dedicated upgrades you get, and I just didn't experience any of those because you can only get those in the single player part of Cursed Halo. But I really liked Cursed Halo. I thought it was really fun. Uh, yeah, but I wish Cursed Halo. So Cursed Halo again. Honestly, this is the one where even if I could spoil some of the bits, I kind of just don't. Like, you should honestly just play this. Like, get the Master Chief Collection, get this mod, play it. It's fun. It's really fun. I love the stupid fucking weapons they have in this. I love some of the bits they do. There's so many little things that I really do love. I like that they got some Sergeant Johnson impersonator just add a bunch of lines, and like they just it's a lot of the same levels but tweaked in very specific ways where it's just complete chaos. I love it. It changes up a lot of the strategies, and there's just a lot of weapons and a lot of fun. It reminds me of playing on like an old like fucking Gmod server, or like TF2 fucking all crits on fucking Dust Bowl server, you know. Uh, and that's just the vibe I get from it. And I had a great fucking time. It was a blast. And so, minus the fact that it would crash and then I'd have to do a very tedious segment again, I highly recommend Cursed Halo again. Uh, Also, it has a Mario Kart segment, which is fucking hilarious. And also crashed several times, but I loved it. It was so fucking great. But it added like 6 extra levels. It's fantastic. Now, excuse me. Whew, oh, man, what the fuck was that? Okay. Number 20, the big boy. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Now, this is a game I really have some mixed feelings on. So, my opinion on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, as someone who's a decent like fan of Zelda, I've played like about 7 or 8 Zelda games by now, so I feel like I've had a good enough experience with the series as a whole to really make a judgment of how I feel about Breath of the Wild. And I think for Breath of the Wild,
The very opening of Breath of the Wild, when you're just on the Great Plateau and you haven't experienced the rest of the world, is like peak Zelda. It's like as good as it gets, straight up. Like it's just perfect. That sense of wonder, that sense of discovery, that sense of like finding new shit. You get all these powers. This old man is like being a weird bitch to you, and you don't know why. It's like it's perfect. It's peak. It's so good. And then the rest of the game just kind of doesn't live up to it. There's good moments, and then there's just like mid fucking moments after mid fucking moments. And that's how I feel with Breath of the Wild. And Tears of the Kingdom is kind of the same way, where like the opening of it is really good. I really like it, although I do think Breath of the Wild is a little better. And then nothing else quite lives up to it, but they really tried. Like they made some really cool shit here. I love being able to build your own junk, even though it's not incredibly intuitive. I think it's definitely like held back just because like I feel like by having a lot of the resources be finite, especially in the early game when I didn't have a lot of zonai, because I didn't know you had only had to go down to like the fucking middle of the only way to really get a lot of it was to go down into the depths. And then I figured out the duplication bug, and that made everything a hell of a lot easier because I could just duplicate rocket shields. That was fucking awesome. I love the rocket shield dupes. These were great, man. Yeah, the rocket shield definitely, because I'm a big fan of sequence breaking, and I discovered the rocket shield by myself. It was fucking great, dude. I loved that you just hold the shield out and fire up in the fucking sky. Because I was thinking, like, dude, I was thinking at first, I was like, okay, I put the shield out, the enemy hits it, the rocket fucking shoots out. But no, I just hold the shield out, and then it just fucking gives me a super jump. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? What were they cooking there? But I loved it because you could just skip shrines, and honestly, that's fun. Like the novelty never really wore old with me. I didn't kind of hate. I kind of loved that you could just skip shit. Here's this whole puzzle we designed for you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I don't really care. This time I don't really feel like doing the puzzle. Like that was fun. I liked that. I thought it was a cool bit. And there were some puzzles I just cheesed because honestly, fuck it. I can do it. They encourage me to do it. I'll do it, whatever. And I didn't feel like, oh well, I really wish there was a puzzle here. I was just like, hey. Felt like a little devious little scamp for doing it. And that's good. That's a good feeling. I think if that's their goal was to encourage that feeling, good job. But the map being the same and also being kinda not that interesting, like I didn't find the side quest particularly interesting. I didn't find myself like wanting to go on any side quests. I just was like, yep, side quests are definitely here. I didn't even find the fifth guardian because I was like, by the time I got the four, and by the time I did the four temples, and I had fun with those. I liked the sky temple, I liked the sand temple. I guess that's what they're called. I like the Gerudo temple. You know what? Those are fun. Uh, I definitely liked some of the temple designs more than Divine Beasts. I think they just felt more Zelda-y in terms of just like some serious legit exploration. That was fun, and then there was like cool little bits. Those were fun. And then I was just like, I'm kind of ready for this game to be over, and that's not a good feeling, man. That's not a feeling I want to be having near the end game. Is me just being like, let's just get this fucking shit over with. So I went and I fought Ganon, and I had to do this like whole bullshit because I didn't have the mech to fight the other mech with, and that was kind of annoying. But I mean, the final Ganon fight kind of clean though. This shit kind of gas. Like this shit was, I was kind of like, ooh. See, I always get goosebumps whenever they do some bullshit like, oh, he's got your moveset, and then the thing with the health bar. When I saw those two things, I mean, I was legit getting chills. I was like, oh. So it's that kind of game, huh? And it hadn't been that game up to this point, so I was genuinely surprised. And I'm like a huge Ganondorf fan. I love that motherfucker. He's always so funny, you know. And so him being like this might be my favorite Ganon, straight up. I think I haven't played Hyrule Warriors, but like Ganondorf wise, this is the coolest looking one. Matt Mercer too, as a voice actor, is really good. I know like Japanese Ganon is also kind of cracked. Obviously, it's a little unfair to Matt Mercer because like this is Japanese dude. This is native language. Of course, they're gonna design him better. And considering he was the only tolerable voice, because I still fucking think the voice acting in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom kind of sucks ass. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it's really not good. Like, I don't know what they were cooking here, but yeah, the final battle was really good. So I mean, that's good. At least it nailed the ending. But I still am not sure how I exactly feel about Tears of the Kingdom. I still think it's like a good game, I guess. I just think it's got a lot of padding, and its best moments were at the beginning, like when you're just figuring out the world. And once you figured out the world, I just wanted to be done with it. I was like, cool, I figured out the world. Next. And then I beat the game. And I mean, hey, honestly, maybe this is a lesson to me that I sometimes, when I've had my fun with the game, it's time to beat the goddamn game. And I'm glad that maybe it lets you do that. So honestly, maybe that's for the best. I've discovered what I need to do. I foolishly did all 152 shrines like a fucking idiot I did it all without doing the side quest that cleans out the fucking, that little part in the sky where it's like fucking covered with clouds and shit. And it's like a permanent storm. And that's where like 2 shrines are located. I had to find those fucking shrines myself without doing that shit because I just did not care. I was like, I don't want to do no fucking side quest for this. I just want to get the fucking shrines done so I can say I did all 152 shrines. So I just got those final 2 shrines without just like, and I mean, I had to do this bullshit to get it done, but I did it. Like, hey, I did it, and so that felt kind of cool. I felt kind of cool that I got these 2 shrines done without actually doing them. I had to like triangulate the location based on some fucking map that I saw on the internet of where all the shrines were located, and that was kind of fun. Like I kind of felt pretty smart for doing that. I'm not gonna lie. And now, then I played Braid again. So I'd already beaten Braid originally, like way back when. I thought it was really good, but then I remembered, Braid's just sitting there, and I never got all of the secret stars in Braid. And I remembered that one of the stars was you had to like stand on a cloud for like 2 fucking hours. So I was like, cool, I got shit to do for 2 hours. I'm gonna get this star, and if I get it and I'm like, hey, I feel pretty good, then I'll get the rest. And I sat Tim's stupid ass on that cloud. I waited. Felt pretty good. And so I got the rest of the stars, and I got the secret ending that fucking blows up the princess in front of your stupid face. And it was very good. I liked Braid. Hey, I like Braid. What a shock, what a shock that this game. Look, I don't even like Jonathan Blow because I don't like The Witness very much. I think The Witness is this type of game done poorly, whereas Braid. See, I have no problem with pretentiousness in games, I guess I'll say, but Braid just kind of does it perfectly without like feeling pretentious. Like one of the things about Braid that immediately is just like, okay, they got something to say here, is the one level. I think about this all the time. The one level where when you move forward, time moves forward. That's the only way time actually moves forward. And if you move backwards, time moves backwards. And so there's this moment where you're going, and it's just like, hey, you got it. You beat it's like, oh, but your princess is in another castle. And you just keep walking past the guy because that's the only way you can advance time. And the guy's like, hey, where are you going? Hey, where are you going? You didn't say anything to me. But you can't, like, stop, because if you stop, time moves backwards. And so as far as he's concerned, as far as this little guy who you're completely ignoring is concerned, all you as the player are doing is just walking right past him like nothing happens. And that's like a good fucking metaphor that the gameplay reinforces. Jonathan Blow, guy who made this game, and I guess needs to be reminded how to make fucking games. I love that part. I think it's a good bit. And I like the getting the stars. I think they're really interesting. I think the one where you have to like in the same section, by the way, where you have to like, it's like the one time in the game you have to move time forward like faster than normal so that he'll get the fucking key. That was the one time I was like, all right, they're pushing a little bit here. But all things considered, very good game. I liked it a lot. Yeah, so I got all 8 stars. Great. Now, what's next? What was next on the docket? What? Excuse me. Why, hello, Pikmin 4. And yes, I did 100% Pikmin 4. By the way, I didn't 100% braid because one of the things you have to do is a speed run. I'm going to do that like some other year. I don't know. Then I'll have 100% braid. But Pikmin 4, 100% completed. And damn, it would have been good game of the year. But Pizza Tower came out this year, so there it goes to Pizza Tower. But I mean, Pikmin 4, baby. I mean, what a great time to be a Pikmin fan. I literally became a Pikmin fan in 2020 with the year of the Pikmin, because that's when Pikmin 3 Deluxe dropped, and I was like, well, we ain't gonna have to wait too much longer till Pikmin 4, right? Right? And honestly, we didn't. I mean, 3 years after, that's not too bad, you know? Hey, that's not too shabby. You got Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Pikmin 4. It's not bad, honestly, not bad. And so I played Pikmin 4, and I loved it. I think the thing about Pikmin 4 is that it is just Pikmin 2, but a lot of the frustration is just completely gone, and that's very nice. However, in turn, the challenge is also completely gone, in that it's a pretty fucking easy game, and that's fine, honestly. I just needed a chill game, honestly. You know, after some bullshit that I've been put through, I just needed a chill game, and I just graduated college, and I was just like, I just want a chill game. And so I had a chill game, and I had fun with this motherfucking chill game. I mean, this was the shit, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I just graduated college, and I played Tears of the Kingdom. And that game was kind of not what I needed, but whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying. But Pikmin 4. Now that's a game of the year, baby. That's a game of the year. I love Pikmin 4. Except it's not Pizza Tower, so that's actually game of the year. But you know what I'm saying, right? So Pikmin 4, again, it's like Pikmin 2. And I like Pikmin 2. Why? Pikmin 2 happens to be one of my favorite games of all time. It's in the top 25, but you know, it's up there, you know what I'm saying? And I also like Pikmin 3. Now, my favorite's Pikmin 1, and so Pikmin 4 gets little brownie points when it has a whole little mini Pikmin 1 game in Pikmin 4, and it's really good. Like, honestly, I mean, if this was its own little, like, mini game, like, when I was just talking about, I like mini games in this shit, having a whole Olimar sub story about getting 30 ship parts in 15 days, and, you know, the days are shorter, and you only have 3 Pikmin types, yeah, count me the fuck in. That sounds like a good fucking time, and it was a good fucking time. I loved the shit out of that. In fact, immediately I played it again after that because I wanted to get a faster fucking time, and I did. I felt fucking awesome, dude. I love Pikmin 1's gameplay loop, and so to have a little mini Pikmin 1 in my Pikmin 4, I mean, dude, this was the game, dude. And this game has so much content. And one thing I remember being like, oh, no bingo battle. I mean, that kind of sucks, you know? But then I was just like, you know what? I'm glad they took the time away from making Bingo Battle to just give us more content in Pikmin 4. Like, straight up. There's so much shit to do in Pikmin 4 that I was just happy the whole way. I like that there's, like, all these Dandori challenges. That's its own dungeon. Like, its own, I say dungeon. Its own cave is just 10 Dandori challenges. And your reward are the fucking white and purple onions, bro. Which is so fucking cool. That was legit. I was fucking so goddamn excited when I saw that fucking purple onion, the white onion pop up, and I was like, oh, does this mean the purple onion is real? Because purple Pikmin, I mean, dude, purple Pikmin, bro. I think they're like my favorite Pikmin, just period. I think it's Urple. He's Urple, all right? Duh. Of course he's my favorite. And so the fact that you could actually grow and sprout your fucking purple Pikmin, I was so goddamn happy about that. I looked at that shit and I was like, this is the greatest thing. Of course, by the time I got the fucking purple Pikmin, it didn't fucking matter because I'd already done everything. That was the last thing because those are the Dandori fucking Wise Sage challenges. Getting like good ranks on those are like the hardest thing in the goddamn world.
And I didn't even bother platinuming some of those last ones because they were just so goddamn hard to do, to manage your fucking time wisely and get what you need to get done at the time. But the reward is so good. I wish there was like, okay, you've done everything in this. Now, fight a new rival. And then throw some bullshit at you you've never even seen before. But that's asking a lot because, I mean, let's be real. The water race, bro. The water race. You know what I'm saying? The water race. He's in this motherfucker. He was scary then. He's scary now. I love that there's literally just, hey guys, here's Pikmin. Here's Pikmin 2 Submerged Castle. He's back, baby. He's back, baby. Where's the plasma wraith? Who knows? Yeah, this game is like. It reminds me of. I watched this one video where this dude went on like kind of like not really a conspiracy theory. In fact, I don't even really hate this guy, but I just think it's so funny in hindsight how he was just like he had this whole conspiracy theory about how Shigeru Miyamoto hates Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 2's level design. He hates everything about it. He only likes Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 3 level design and how Pikmin 3 is like a shit game compared to Pikmin 2. And I like Pikmin 3 quite a bit. I think it's really good. I think it's completely different from Pikmin 2. I think it's got its own gritty elements. And then Pikmin 4, the game after Pikmin 3, is just Pikmin 2. Like, it's just Pikmin 2. It's literally the exact same design philosophy as Pikmin 2. Except it's a new game with new stuff. And I gotta say, it being Pikmin 2 means, a moment of silence please, that Breadbug is back. The Breadbug is in HD. And he's better than ever. Seriously, I think they knew what they had with this motherfucking Breadbug. These motherfuckers show up in one cave. One. Just one. And yet, they managed to be even cuter, even more dinky than they were in Pikmin 2. See, in Pikmin 2, they got the goofy AI, they kind of walk around, but a lot of their charm is just in just the little things. And Pikmin 4 says, all right, we're going to put the most amount of love and care in these motherfuckers. When you walk up to the breadbugs, they make the little big breadbug. They start humming the big breadbug theme. They go, I mean, that's cinema, all right? Already, they're serenading me with their beauty. And then, as if to dissuade the cruel and heartless public from hurting these precious little breadbugs, when you throw a Pikmin on top of the breadbug, he don't just go like, he starts running in pain, and you just don't want, like, never, like, I thought, like, I knew I was like a cold, heartless bitch, I killed villagers in Minecraft before the trades became anything good, I did the Undertale genocide run. But I could not bring myself to hurt a single motherfucking breadbug in Pikmin 4. I just couldn't. I couldn't. I saw that motherfucker. I didn't even kill the big breadbug. I was like, that shit's yours. Take it. I just dug that motherfucker up. I took him back. Because you don't even have to kill the breadbug. You don't even. If the breadbug takes something to its hole now, you just dig it up. You just dig up the motherfucker. That's great. I love that. I love the breadbugs. I love them. Everything about them. And they're in this game and they're perfect. Also, Louie's a bitch, and I love that he's back. I love everything. I don't know, man. Pikmin's so special. The biggest gripe I have with Pikmin 4, and it's kind of not, is that like they didn't do more with the story. Like Pikmin 3 felt like the natural evolution of Pikmin 2, which felt like the natural evolution of Pikmin 1. Pikmin 4 feels like, hey, remember that bad ending of Pikmin 1? Which is cool in its own right, but it's not really following the bad ending of Pikmin 1 as closely as I would have liked it to. It's definitely like hinting at that that's what happened here, but not really, because Moss is there, and Almar never encountered Moss in Pikmin 1. So if this really was like an alternate thing, but it's definitely before Pikmin 3, because the Copites aren't there, but they're like one of Alf's relatives. Pikmin lore is dumb. I don't know why I care. Also, no president. 0 out of 10. No president. Pikmin 4 is the worst game ever, actually, because despite everything it borrows from Pikmin 2, it doesn't borrow the president. He's like, you don't even get a soundbite. At least Pikmin 3 bothered to model. Pikmin 3 Deluxe bothered to model his face for like one little thing, Pikmin 4, that motherfucker gets a mention. All right, that's it.
But I mean, one thing about Pikmin 4 that I love is that it's like the Picklepedia is back and better than fucking ever. If you want to know some shit, I literally once I beat Pikmin 4, 100%, I spent the rest of it reading every single entry from every single thing. And it's not just Olimar and Louis. It's that one dude who's like simping for the animals of this place. He's like a nature lover to the fullest extent. He reminds me of my coworker Barbara, who's always like, "Oh, the poor pigeons!" She's like German and she cares about pigeons. Anyway, on a tangent, cause Pikmin 4, very goddamn good. Unfortunately, no Pizza Tower, but that's okay. Very few things are. Pikmin 4, you're beautiful. Don't let that ugly bitch Pizza Tower get you down. All right. Ugly in a good way, by the way, because Pizza Tower is ugly in a great way. Now, finally, we can talk about Great Ace Attorney, because 23 was Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. So the thing about Great Ace Attorney is that my biggest fear was that it would have nothing to say about racism at all. It would just be like, yeah, racism is a thing and it's bad and it's kind of the backdrop to our show. But no, what's the fucking focus? Straight up xenophobia is inseparable from Great Ace. And that's great because Ace Attorney by itself has always existed in this weird limbo where it wants to tell a really complex story about like emotions and grief and all this stuff. And then it's kind of more about the murder mystery at the end of the day. And that's fine. Like it never lets its characters really breathe. And that's okay. It's not supposed to, it doesn't have to. But Great Ace feels so much more mature than regular Ace Attorney. And I really respect it for that. Though, okay, guys, we need to talk. Okay, real talk. We need to talk here. What the fuck is up with making all the girls in Ace Attorney so young? Why does that keep happening, dude? It's a thing. It's definitely a fucking thing. All the fucking main female characters are like fucking 16 or fucking 8, and all the main male characters are like fucking 30, Like, what the hell? What's that all about? And I don't want to assume it's what I think it is, But like, okay, something's definitely up at this point because this is like the 8th time it's happened. It's like, okay, buddy, all right, buddy, what do you got going on here? Shoot taco me, what you got going on here? What's up? What's up with all the younger girls and the older guys? Type, something's up. Especially when some of them get shipped together. I'm always just like, ugh, I'm a little icked out by that. It's just weird. It's just weird. Why are they doing that? Anyways. So they do address racism in this, and they do it very well. I'm very glad that it wasn't some Japanese guy going insane, and actually they're all right in their racism. It's actually not even like, actually we just need to get together. It's actually the British government is awful and is trying to blame all of their problems on xenophobia. Although they do paint the Queen of England as a good person, which I don't buy that for a second, but. I mean, they, as soon as Lord Strongheart showed up in the first game, like case 3, I was like, this is the main bad guy. And I was so happy to be right. I was so fucking happy to be right about this dude being the main bad guy. Because if anyone deserves to be the main bad guy, it's him. It's his dumb ass. All right. This old ass motherfucker. Thank God. And it was fun. It was fun. That final case was really fun. I beat it literally right after Pikmin 4. It felt great. I think it was within the same day, I think. But yeah, no, it was really good. Okay, now, Mario 64 Star Road. Just when you thought the ROM hacks were over. Now we back, bitch. We back. Goddamn. So, Mario 64 Star Road is one of the most famous Mario 64 Star hacks. And we were playing, me and Kaze, he's back, baby. We're playing co-op Mario 64 because we acquired legal ROMs of Mario 64 PC build. I can't even say it. It's like the legal PC build. Whatever. Don't worry about it. Nintendo, you could kill me. You could suck my ass clean. All right. In fact, not even for the ROMs. Just do it. I'm out of water. Oh well.
I'll have to live with it. Anyways, very good. In fact, I'm gonna blow through these next ones because there's a couple that we just kind of did. Because we did Mario 64 Star Road, and we got all 130 stars in that bitch, and that shit was probably the most memorable one. It's definitely the best one. I do have a lot of fun with some of these later down the line, but I do struggle to remember some of these. Like I definitely beat these. I definitely beat Mario 64 Sapphire, Mario 64 Paradise Island, but I don't really remember them. Like I definitely remember doing shit in them. I remember cooking in them, but like they just kind of blended together for me. They were definitely like the next mods we played, and I feel bad because like I mean I was having fun. I was really out here like woohoo. Can you believe it, guys? Woohoo! Christmas. Mario 64. Just 120 stars away. But yeah, Mario 64 Star Road, I remember the most fondly just because, yeah, it's in the upper echelons of Mario ROM hacks for a good reason. Hell, it might be even the most famous one. It's so goddamn good. It really just feels like if they made like a Majora's Mask companion piece. Like if Mario Galaxy 2 was made in 1996, but it was called Mario 64 too. Mario 65, if you will. Mario 64 Star Road, it might, no, I can't say that. It's not as iconic, but like, I was about to say, like, it might be better than Mario 64, and I don't think that's true at all. Some of those last, challenges are a little pain in the ass, but I mean, okay. Some of the wall kick shit they make you do in this, maybe I'm just terrible at wall kicking. I swear to God, I'm like buffering some inputs because I mean, if we didn't have the motherfucking modern, like the updated co-op controls that came with this, where you can do the Odyssey ground pound dive and you can do all this bullshit out of a dive. I mean, it wouldn't have been as fun, but I'm glad you can do the moves because I feel like they add a lot to it. And in the way that Mario 64, like, it's in this weird cultural osmosis state where it's like me and all my friends who played it together, like eventually me, Kaze, Lionel, and Cloudhead came together and played some Mario 64 together. And we all like, because we had played Mario 64 before, we all like knew what it was. So it was like in our way, it was just like we are all ready to trick and schmoove a little bit. And that's a great sense of camaraderie where it's like we all kind of know the general gist and vibe. And if there's like a move we missed out on, we can teach each other how to do it. And there's also like we can just totally like hack and add a bunch of cheats and just cheese the game if we're really just not feeling it. I love that shit. Like it really just comes down to like, hey, let's see what we can get away with. And I think that's the vibe that the original Mario 64 really captured, where it's like, yeah, you could take everything slow. You could just like slowly walk up Whomp's Fortress and slowly make it across these Whomps and slowly make it up. Or you could apply some movement to the area and do a fucking wall kick after doing a triple jump and then dive onto one of those floating platforms and then make it up to the Womp King way fucking faster just because you know some movement. And I think that philosophy is really fucking brilliant. And I'm glad that Mario 64, Star Road, and all these other co-op mods, because that's just general, like 24, 25, 26, I forgot most of what Paradise Island and Sapphire were all about. I think Paradise Island was like linear. Like I maybe it's Star Revenge, but like I remember Paradise Island was like kind of linear. Like you go right from one to the other, and everything's on like an island. I think maybe. I think Sapphire was also not linear though. I think Sapphire had that one where you're up in the clouds and shit. If I remember correctly, I'll have to go rewatch. I streamed a lot of this stuff, so a lot of the footage is on my channel. If you want to go see some of it, honestly, it's not like a huge deal. Anyways, I loved Mario 64. It's really good. I don't think it's my favorite 3D Mario game. I think Galaxy 2, maybe, it's really good. I love Galaxy 2 a lot. It's so good. Anyways, but this feels like Galaxy 2. This is what I like about Galaxy 2, where it's just like, it's not just like, oh hey, I understand Mario Galaxy is like this very specific vibe that a lot of people fuck with, and I know people like don't like that the story is lesser, but I just think that gameplay wise, which is at the end of the day, when I'm replaying a game, I'm not caring about the story or some shit. I'm caring about the gameplay. Uh,
that's what's still there for me. And these hacks provide fucking insanely good gameplay. And I think there's that plus Mario Kart feature. It just created this perfect experience that I feel like I wish a regular game just kind of had. See, I had this philosophy. I was playing the game and I was a little high, obviously, but I still think it actually is very prominent. Which most of my high rambles kind of suck ass. I'm not even gonna lie, but this one was kind of prominent. It was like a game like Mario 64 where you're exploring and finding secrets, but you're doing it with a team that all working towards the same goal. Where it's like you can all like go off and do your own little thing and micromanage and find the best solution to any given situation. I think that is a very underrated method of designing a fun co-op game where like anyone like you can send the guy who's maybe not as good at this movement off to do the easier one while you and the boys go off and do the harder one. You know what I'm saying? We ended up doing that a little bit when Reggie joined. I think that was around the time, and that's when we started fucking with mods because we were playing like as Pac-Man and shit. Like eventually, we were just like, "Fuck this shit, fuck Mario, bro." We're picking up some characters, and we were playing as Pac-Man. We played as this one busted fucking character from Freedom Planet who said "fuck." She said "fuck," and I was like, "This is the best thing ever," because she says "fuck." And these were all mods that we just like picked random mods. We picked like fucking the Hank Schrader Goomba. There's like the Goomba that just replaces the Goomba's face with Hank Schrader, and it was fucking amazing. I loved it. Anyway, yeah. So Mario 64 mods, very great. Later down the line, there's some more ones. But if I had to pick like my favorite multiplayer experience of the year, this is easily takes the fucking cake. It's so good, bro. Like I loved A Way Out in its own stupid little way, I guess. And Halo, and I mean, cursed Halo again is gonna be frustrated, but and Halo 3 and 4 are very good, fun multiplayer. But the one that actually gets multiplayer, and not even intentionally, just really gets multiplayer, is the Mario 64 co-op and all the mods you could play that let you take stars out of order and go for things. It's really fucking good. It's so good. I need a game like this that's made on purpose and doesn't crash every fucking 15 minutes to exist, bro. I need it to exist. It's so good. Anyways, then I played Entropy Zero, which is another mod. So yeah, this was around the mod era. This was it's a Half Life mod. Again, I like Half Life. What can I say? Where you play as a member of the fucking Covenant. No, not the Covenant. The fucking Combine. Why the fuck did I say the Covenant? Anyways, you play as the member. Remember that I've got Halo brain on. You play as a member of the Combine, and you have to. I mean, you go do a bunch of stuff, but ultimately you stop a lot of the fucking the dudes that go and shoot a little beam. You have to stop those guys. So it's good to see that those guys are actually like fightable in Half Life because they're kind of annoying in like Half Life 2 engine. It's interesting to see them there. I guess they were also in Black Mesa, but still, I think it's interesting that you can fight the Zorarks or some shit. No, that's a Pokemon. What the fuck are those things called? I don't even remember. The Xanths? No, it's not even a Z, I don't think. But the ones with the one eye, the single eye, and they're enslaved in Half Life 1, and then by Half Life 2, they're your allies, and they help you with shit. Those guys. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And I think Entropy Zero, it was very frustrating, and I got lost. Like, on the final boss, I wasn't actually sure if I was doing damage to him, so I started up a walkthrough. I felt kind of shameful. I was just like, am I doing something wrong? Am I missing something? No, you just have to shoot him enough times, but there was, like, no indication that I was doing damage to him until he finally dropped dead. So I was like, uh-oh. But everything else, I mean, it was pretty fun. I know Entropy Zero 2 was sitting there just on my Steam. I just need to play it. But I had fun with it. Honestly, I did. And then I played Negative 256. So there was this YouTuber I had discovered. His name was like Grailden or something. I don't know how you pronounce it. He's doing this thing called Steam Secrets where he plays like every single Steam game ever. And he started with like all the way up, like way before even the A's, which is a bunch of the special characters, which come first. And one of the games he played was Negative 256, and it was, I think it was free. Either that or it was like 99 cents. I can't remember. But I remember he was like, yo, play this shit. It's weird. And it was. and it was kind of cool. Now, granted, I got like frustrated. I was getting like a headache playing it or something because I got like stuck at one point, and it was like way too obtuse to figure out the solution again. I guess I'm just stupid. And this was another time where I had to look up a guide, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. It will happen again. It will happen again. Yes, indeed. But yeah, I beat 256, and I just had a gay old time. I really enjoyed. There's a little twist at the end. That's it's honestly not a huge twist. Honestly, it's just sort of like what you'd expect from this game. But I really did enjoy my time. 256. I recommend you give it a play. You can beat it in like an hour if you're just a really designated to beat it and shit. So I recommend playing it. I think it's free. Next up, I played was Tunic. Now, Tunic is a game that I'd heard a lot about, a lot of positive stuff, and I get the hype. Definitely, don't get me wrong. I think it is a fantastically executed game on paper. No pun intended, of course, because you pull up the map to figure shit out. You pull up the fucking instruction manual to figure shit out, and there is that vibe of you pull up the instruction manual and find shit out. And I think that's a really cool idea because that is sort of a lost art in video gaming is using the instruction manual, and this is a way where the instruction manual is essentially preserved and it's actually incorporated itself into the gameplay. Though I kind of wish this is gonna be weird. I kind of wish you had the whole instruction manual just at the beginning. Just straight up, I wish you had the whole instruction manual at the beginning. Finding the pieces can get kind of annoying, or like knowing which page you're supposed to look for, and like I got stuck so many times, dude, just because I was legit just didn't know what to do. And the instruction manual is so daunting, just because you get all these pages, but not like you got no clue what to do with the pages. Sometimes the pages aren't like helpful immediately. It's maybe I don't want. Okay, thinking about it, maybe I don't want the whole fucking instruction manual out at the whole time. But just kind of skimming through it and like finding some interesting shit. Because a lot of the abilities you have, which is brilliant, I love this bit where some of the abilities you have in Tunic are abilities you just have at the start of the game. You just would never know you had them because it's just like it's an obtuse way of actually executing the move. And it's like you have to pray at one of the temple things to charge it up. One of those things. And I did not get the good ending. I know that there's like a better ending to get. But at that point, I just looked up the requirements to get the good ending, and I noticed that there's just like this huge fucking quest you had to do, and I was like, I ain't vibing with the game that much, And so I didn't do the good ending, but I enjoyed what I played with it, and I actually really liked the fighting mechanics. I thought the gameplay mechanics were very fun and interesting, and I wish that more games were Zelda Dark Souls. So you can say it uses top-down 2D Zelda, but the fighting aspect is more like 3D Zelda, where you Z target to an opponent, you dodge at the right time, you counter with your own hits, right? The Dark Souls of fighting games, which the Dark Souls of Legend of Zelda, which Zelda already is kind of Dark Souls light, but Dark Souls is Zelda hard. Dark Souls is Zelda dark, Anyway, yeah, Tunic was fun. I like the little fox creature. Apparently it's non-binary, which I like. Star Revenge 1. So Star Revenge 1, 3, and 4 was me, Kaze, Lionel, and Cloudhead beat. And we did not beat 2, because 2 is like a Kaizo fucking map, and it sucks ass. And there's like quicksand everywhere, and you die immediately. But the 1, 3, and 4 were pretty manageable, if I remember correctly. We also played this one that was like the evil Mario 64. It was like evil and shit. There's all this evil shit in it, And it used like beta designs from it. It's supposed to be kind of like creepypasta. And I thought that was really cool. We didn't beat it because it was obtuse and we got lost a bunch and we could not make a mental map of the place at all. But for what we played, we had fun with it. I thought it was worth mentioning because there are a bunch of games I just didn't finish this year. In fact, I'm going to take a little moment to discuss the games I didn't beat this year. One was Blue Fire, which was a 3D platformer. There was an NPC that did not load in the game. I literally looked it up. I watched a full Let's Play of it, And once I noticed that the NPC had not loaded, I said, fuck this, I'm not starting this game over again to see if I just didn't trigger something. It's not worth it. Which is a shame because I was having kind of fun. I was having a decent amount of fun in that game. And then I just got really upset that, I mean, the game was kind of broken. And I hadn't seen anyone deal with this glitch before, but I literally don't know what else I was doing wrong. Like, I legit was like, I got to the top of this fucking thing and there was fucking nothing up there. Because there was supposed to be, and I was like close to the end of the game. I knew what I had to do. I was really upset. And I was just like, dude, this sucks. And so I just didn't beat the game. So sorry, Blue Fire. I'll probably never see your ending. The other one was Slay the Princess. Now, Slay the Princess, I love. I legit love this fucking game. It's such a cool idea. I'm a big sucker for the Stanley Parable. And so having a game where it's just like, oh, your choices, blah, 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 there's a million different endings. And it's meta commentary on the nature of games themselves. But this time, with a hot girl who will kill you already, you know, obviously, if the Stanley Parable is yaoi for, you know, on the scale, yaoi is Stanley Parable, Yuri is Portal 2, and then I guess straight, straight. I don't know if the main character is a guy. I guess it certainly sounds like a guy. Um, there are like straight couples, I guess. This is what they deal with. Yeah, don't think too much about that. But yeah, I didn't beat Slay the Princess, which I mean, because once I figured out that if you reload a save to go get a different ending at a certain point, it doesn't save your progress like in the meta narrative. So I was just going to certain points to trigger different endings because I was curious, obviously, and I didn't want to have to do all that shit again to get to the specific point where I wanted to do an ending. And I realized that didn't save your fucking progress towards like the true end of the game. And I mean, like Undertale at least has like saves outside of saves. You know, like Undertale remembers your gameplay, so it's definitely possible for a game of this scale to do something like this. And then it just didn't. And I noticed that I wasn't making any progress towards the true ending. I was getting the achievements, but I was not actually counting towards my progress in the game. It was treating it as if this was like the second time I had ever activated an ending, when it was like the 50th time I had activated an ending. And at that point, I was just like, all right, this is fun. One of these days, I'm going to go and beat the whole thing and have a great time. But for now, I am just a little miffed that it was not what I was promised it would be. And so for now, I have to leave. Slay the Princess as unslayed. I did not beat the game. Well, I got the technical. I honestly could because I got the like endings. I got some endings in it, you know, but every single choice you make leads to an ending. There's no good or bad endings. There's just endings, but I didn't get the big deal ending. But I saw what I'd like to see in it. And I really did enjoy it. Like, I really did. I really had a good time playing it, and I know a lot of the friends I made enjoyed playing it too. But I just didn't finish it, and I feel kind of bad about that. But, oh well. And so, Star Revenge 2 falls into that category too, because we would, it wasn't worth it. And then, but then, Plants vs. Zombies reseeded, baby. Let me tell you, baby. So, Plants vs. Zombies 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, it just hits that shit perfectly, you know what I'm saying? And then Plants vs. Zombies 2, disappointing. And I don't even want to talk about the rest of the Plants vs. Zombies franchise. That shit should not have been a franchise. That should have maybe had 1, 2 games tops. Call it a day. Don't even get me started on Plants vs. Zombies Adventures. I will kill you. But Plants vs. Zombies 1, fan-frickin-tastic game. I loved it. I loved it to death. And Plants vs. Zombies reseeded. See, I've played a couple ROM hacks or mods for Plants vs. Zombies 1, and I think a lot of them kind of some dookie butter. Like, I think a lot of them don't change, or just too hard. This is a nice balance where I did have to think on my toes, and I really did have to, like, make some tough choices. And they pick some really interesting, like, okay, so the zombies are a little faster. They're a little harder. They take a little more damage. But and the zombie spam's a little crazy, but and like none of the levels
once you replay the game, like none of the levels are fucking beatable. They just drop a million fucking zombies at you all at once. And that's like a funny bit. Like I'm not ever gonna actually like beat the game second time. Like that's fine. I've accepted this fact that I will just never beat this game fully. But and this is a big booty. Like I mean, think about Crazy Dave's thick ass. What I'm talking. Why did I say that? Um, I did beat all the mini games, except for Zombie Nibble Zombie Quick, where I just got overwhelmed and I just was like, all right, this is too much for me. My hand is hurting because I had to click so goddamn fast. Maybe if I had two mice, and I could do two things at once, or I was on the iPad version where I could just use multiple fingers to move multiple things at once. Um, I would have enjoyed this more, but for what it was, I mean, I had good fun with it, but it wasn't like a masterpiece or anything. I did that particular mini game that is, which was really hard because everything was really fast and sunflowers generate sun really quickly, so I had to like constantly. No, sorry, they don't, but like I had to just keep planting shit really quickly, and it was a pain in the ass. But Plants vs Zombies Reseeded is one of the best mods of Plants vs Zombies I've ever played. In fact, if you're looking for just a version of Plants vs Zombies that's a little harder, like if you've mastered Plants vs Zombies and you're like, this game's too easy for me now, I need some challenge. This is the perfect like next step. Like this feels like Mario 64 Star Road for me, where it's like this is the game I loved, slightly harder but balanced. Like it's not. It makes a lot of the plants that were fucking useless in Plants vs Zombies useful, and so you really feel like you're making some serious choices. Like they definitely thought this shit out when they were making it, and a lot of the new zombies are very interesting. Although there is one plant who I will always miss, which is the ice shroom. He was replaced with the burst shroom, which is the same except instead of freezing all zombies and doing like 0.25 damage, he freezes. He just does like 1 P's worth of hit, or like 5 P's worth of hit of damage to zombies, and it's just like, dude, I don't need like a burst damage thing that's like 100 sun. That shit was lame. Yeah, I did not care for that shit at all. But everything else is pretty well balanced, like all things considered. I think they do a very good job of keeping everything well within normal. Like they do a good job. I do think the some of these bitches are just a little too hard, but I figured them out. And I mean, this is such a new mod that I literally couldn't have looked up any guides if I wanted to. So I just had to raw dog it and figure it out, which was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. And so it was just like it was so much fun. I could just sit down. I felt at peace. I felt like I was playing my little stim game all over again. And the Zen Garden, I actually built up a Zen Garden because you need money in the game. So hey, whatever, man. It was fun. Okay. And so we'll go through. We're done with the Star Revenges and shit. Next up, Sonic Superstars. So this game kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It's fucked up because I think one player is fine. It's a fun game just with one player. With a multiplayer, it is completely unplayable. And I don't know if you've noticed this from this list. I actually have friends. I actually have people that I want to play games with. And so when I heard there was a 4-player Sonic game, and most of my friends are Sonic fans, I like to think I'm a decent Sonic fan. I've played a lot of the games. I enjoy a lot of the 2D ones. In fact, hell, Sonic Mania is really goddamn good. But at a certain point, I just was like, wait, Sonic Superstars sucks ass. I beat it. I wasn't happy about beating it. And it makes it all the more worse because I get those boss fights, man. Those sucked ass. And it's all the more worse because there's another game that came out the same week whose boss fights also kind of suck ass, I'm not going to lie. But it just did everything so much better than fucking Sonic. And it should be because it's his motherfucking rival. Like, come on, y'all. Why, Sonic Superstars, why are you doing this? Why'd you have to come out right in the same week as Super Mario Wonder, which was so goddamn good. It's such a good game. I sound like a Jewish mother, but trust me when I say Super Mario Wonder, man. Okay, so let me think about this. I actually wrote this down. I wrote this down as like a little anecdote, a little thing in parentheses. And at first I didn't know, but now that I'm so caught up in the moment, I actually remembered what this anecdote was. And it was, so when we played Sonic Superstars, me and Lionel, we played it 2-player. We were on this big ass TV playing it, and we just didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was big ass TV, right? And I was struggling, bro. I was getting hot. I was getting like, ugh, dude, this sucks. Like, I legit just did not want to play it. But I eventually powered through alone and beat the game myself. And then I played Mario Wonder, and I was in the bathroom, bro, taking the worst shit of my life. I must have been constipated up the wazoo. I think I had some bad Mexican or something. I was just not in the mood, but I was having the time of my fucking life because Mario Wonder on this tiny ass Switch screen. And by the way, I don't have the OLED or anything. I got the OG Switch. You know, this shit's moddable. That's how old it is. Like, I was not in an optimal environment to play at all. And I was having the fucking time of my life with Mario Wonder. I mean, oh, it's so good. Like, when Super Mario World is my favorite game of all time, because it's really just that good, and I need to make a video just talking about why Super Mario World is the best game ever made. And Super Mario Wonder is like close to it in terms of like level design quality. You know it's a fucking good game. Hold on. That was weird. Thought I heard something. Anyways, okay, that was weird. Anyways, so back to what I was saying. So yeah, even me taking an uncomfortable shit, right? Like Super Mario Wonder is really goddamn good. I think like it's kind of better than some 3D Mario games, straight up. Like usually, it's kind of agreed upon that like, well, not me personally, because I think all the 2D Mario's are like consistently pretty good, even if I think Super Mario Land's the only bad one. But even then, like even if they're like boring, they're still well-made games. You know, like the average fucking Mario platformer, while maybe bland in some generic sense, is still like a very well-made and quality platformer. Straight up, New Super Mario Bros. U, quality platformer, right? It's not even act like it's not. But Super Mario Wonder is different, bro. This shit's built different. It's a little too easy. It is a little too easy. That's fine. I don't mind it being a little easy. I appreciated the challenge of the very final level, obviously, even though it was also not that hard. But other than that, the only thing I really don't like about Mario Wonder, other than the ease is and the shitty boss fights, is the fact that once you beat the game, if you want 100% and get that final big like 100% push, you need to collect all the standees, and they don't give you enough money to buy all the standees, so you have to start grinding. And if there's one thing I hate in games more than anything fucking else in the world, is grinding. I hate grinding. It is so antithetical to making games good. I know it's like a whole thing, people love it, but just like fuck grinding, man. Grinding can eat my whole ass, bro. Right next to Nintendo. It's gonna have to wait in line because Nintendo's first, boyfriend second. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, I hate grinding. Grinding sucks ass. And if it's not sex, who cares, you know? But, I mean, and that was the final thing I did was grind for standees, so womp womp, you know? But, I mean, ultimately, it's not too bad, you know? It's just, what I really should have done was buy some of the standee, like the random standees first instead of just guarantee myself. And that would have, obviously, like the chances of me getting a duplicate would have been really low, so I could have just bought a bunch of dupes first. And then once it started duping, like, consistently, I would have been like, all right, time to get on the shit. And then I pick up I start pulling out the 30s and buy. If this even makes any sense, you'll know what I'm talking about. But regardless, done talking about Mario Wonder. We're moving on to Tinykin, baby. Tinykin. So this game was interesting because it's Pikmin-like, but not really. Like, okay, it has the idea of Pikmin, right? Except it's not really. Like, there's not a time limit. there's not even really any enemies. Um, there's just the exploration aspect of it, and then that's kind of it. Like, you don't really do anything other than explore around and collect shit. And honestly, great. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really fun. In fact, it is kind of what I wanted Hey Pikmin of all things to be. See, Hey Pikmin, I got me and Hey Pikmin, we got a complicated relationship. Hey Pikmin, just by itself, is a pretty fine game. I think I might even say it's a good game, but it's not a good Pikmin game. It's not really a good game where I'm just like, wow, thank God. And Tinykin manages to actually bridge the gap between Hey Pikmin and Pikmin for me, where it does things that Hey Pikmin does, right? And yet I kind of like it more than, well, obviously I like it more than Hey Pikmin. It's a well-made, fun game with actual heart behind it, instead of a game that clearly I don't think was supposed to be Pikmin until it was. Like, it just kind of feels like they just put their IP on something and they just kind of went with it. Now the ice has melted into water. I can hit you with a sip that's even hotter than your daughter. But yeah, Tinykin was very fun. I actually really liked it. It has a lot of art style cues of the 2D character interacting in the 3D environment, just like Subway Midnight, which I really liked. And I think what's so interesting is that I remember Claudia was like, I don't know, I don't really care for it. I played the demo. I think the demo kind of sucks, but I think the game itself is really good. It gives me this vibe that I almost like. I don't know if anyone else can even relate to. Like, I don't think anyone is even capable of relating to, which is this one old Lego RC car game where you, as a Lego RC car, drive around this otherwise empty environment and just kind of explore. And Tinykin captures that vibe because you are a small thing in a big environment, right? And the Lego RC car thing was fascinating because it was you or a small thing exploring a big environment. But there is this lonesome sense to it, and that's what this is, where there's no enemies to fight. The vibe, the fucked up vibe, comes from how you like deal with the puzzles. And I think that's its own charm to it, you know? It's really fun. I really liked Tinykin. I was very happy with it. I didn't 100% it. I missed like one bubble, and I didn't collect everything there was to collect. Like, I got all the treasures and stuff, and I made sure, but there was like some pollen shit I just didn't get. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm not getting all this motherfucking pollen. This shit sucks. But I did a good job collecting almost everything, so I felt pretty good about that. But, yeah. So Tinykin, very fun. Then I played Jazz Punk. I'm going to start going through this one because there's not much to say about Jazz Punk that, like, other than it was funny. Like, it's a satire of, like, old school noir detective films and a bunch of other stuff, I'm sure. I just thought it was really funny. Donkey played it once. I watched it and I was like, wow, this is kind of weird. Had a great time with it. Yeah, it's just a lot of funny bits. Really not much else to it, as far as I'm aware. At least I'm sure there's also a lot of stuff. There's a lot of like secret nuance that I'm just totally missing. It's going over my head. And that's fine, honestly. You know what? I should just be allowed to just enjoy a game for what it is without knowing all the deeper intricacies of it, just because, games should be accessible like that. And I thought I had a good time with it, I have a good time with games, sometimes. So then I played to be Cluster Truck, which is a game that the only reason I really remembered it was because I remember watching Pyrocynical. See, I originally followed Pyrocynical because he made like those MLG parody videos. And then he started making the fucking call out content. And I was like, well, it's something to watch, I guess. And I like Pyrocynical, so I watched that shit. And then I eventually got tiring, so I didn't sub. But I remember one of the games he would play in the background was Cluster Truck. And I remember this game looks fucking awesome. And so I finally, just one of these days out of the blue, I was like, oh
was that fucking game where you jump on the fucking trucks? And I looked it up, and after some digging, I found that it was Cluster Truck, and I was like, dude, it's fucking finally it's time, and it was a blast. I'm so glad I played it. The floor is lava, but the only platforms you can walk on are fucking trucks moving at like 60 miles a goddamn hour, and you just gotta haul ass to the end. It was fucking crazy. It was fucking crazy, man. I had a blast. I think it's frustrating, and you could get a lot of muscle memory fucked up, and there's a lot of weird physics things about it. And I did almost everything. I'm pretty sure I did all the like officially made levels. Right? I didn't do any user levels because I was like, this is a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. But in terms of just doing it, like I did the stuff. I did the Halloween pack. I did the Christmas pack. I smoked that Bhutanese pack. I did everything there was to do in the game, really, and I was very happy with it. Honestly, I thought it was a very good game. Moving on to Half-Life: Opposing Force. Now, this game was really testing my fucking patience. Now, remember back in the beginning of this video when I said that I'm familiar with the Half-Life jank? See, I forgot that I'm not familiar with the Gearbox jank. Like, they're pretty good about making their things obvious to figure out. But for this shit, dude, this shit sucked. Like, Half-Life Opposing Force is so interesting to me because, I mean, it could be my favorite, like, obviously it's got a lot going for it, I'm not even gonna lie. I think it's a very interesting story about a character who's, like, kind of important and never will ever show up again because they're just never needed. Shepard. But in terms of, like, conveyance, I mean, man, when I skip the tutorial because I think it's gonna be like the Half-Life Blue Shift tutorial where it's basically the same goddamn tutorial, only slightly different, and then it teaches you about a unique mechanic to the game that the first time you see it is not in like an environment where you know that it was a mechanic you could even use, is so fucking frustrating. So Half-Life Opposing Force introduces rope climbing, where you hop on a rope and you climb it. Fair enough, fine. So the first time you see this rope is in the tutorial, and the guy in it teaches you can skip it. That's fine, great. The guy teaches you can climb the rope. Very good. Rope's a little janky. I don't even mind the fact that rope's a little janky. I think that's almost some charm to it. But you ever tried swinging on a fucking rope that you're dangling on? That shit's hard, dude. You barely get any fucking momentum, especially when you're at the top, because that's typically how it works. But I skipped the tutorial because, I was like, oh, it's going to be the same thing as the other thing. Honestly, if it wasn't for the rope section the section part of the tutorial, you could skip this. But you'd just be missing out the rope. And so I was running around like a fucking idiot looking for what I had to do because there was a rope and I didn't know I could climb it because I had never seen a rope in my life before. And once I realized that, I was just so fucking upset. I almost wanted to put the goddamn game down because I had spent like 2 hours trying to figure out what the fuck I was supposed to do. And I didn't want to look it up because I was like, I'm sure I'll figure it out. It's Half-Life. I don't look up guides for this shit. And then I had to do it again. I don't remember why, but I did. It was some other bullshit that popped up where I was just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And it was something that was like kind of obvious, but at the same time, it really wasn't conveyed very well. And at this point, I'm not even sure. When it comes to conveyance, I'm never sure if it's like, well, it's your fault because you didn't fucking notice something that was there, or the dev's fault because it's like, well, they didn't make it obvious that it was there, and so my brain naturally like overlooked it, and then I got fucking frustrated. And this wasn't a puzzle. The puzzle wasn't like to find where the fucking thing where you're supposed to go is. The puzzle was using physics in an interesting way to get there. But I didn't even know it was there. I gotta make up some interesting physics to get there. They should make it very clear where the door is, blah, 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 whatever. Anyways, all things considered, Half-Life Opposing Force is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Hell, I put it up there. I put it up there with some of the big boys just because I like it a lot. I think it's got a lot of charm to it. I think it's got a lot of, what do the kids call these days? Personality, got some personality to it. I like that you play as the bad guys, and then the bad guys get hunted by the better guys because nothing works out here for anyone. This shit was crazy, and it sucks ass. And I don't even think you've had a boss. I think it just kind of ends, if I remember correctly. Uh, anyways, just nuts. So then I didn't beat it because it's unbeatable, but I put it on here anyway just because it was a good time. Was Lethal Company. Now, the first time I played Lethal Company, I was thinking, wait, this is just Pikmin 2. And then the second time I played Lethal Company, I was like, oh, that's right. This is why I hate Pikmin 2 sometimes. But by the end of the day, I mean, I was having a blast. At first, I was so fucking stressed because I would just get all this progress and then immediately fucking lose it because we had bad RNG and some bozo got his ass killed. And I was like, not vibing with this game. And then I just kind of started vibing with the game. Like, I know it's really popular now, and I got on this shit like early, I guess. So it's in early access, and I got to tweak a lot of stuff. And I think it definitely needs heavy tweaking, and I'm so glad that like it's doing so well in early access because now it has a ton of time to just change and refine and find out what works and make a truly masterpiece of a fucking game. Lethal Company really does have a shitload of potential here, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. But I hope it's not just like a pump and dump asset flip kind of game because it really does have a lot of heart and charm to it. And it really deserves like more than the hand it's been given. But I am a little weary because I feel like it's almost like too unforgiving sometimes. Like sometimes you just really get like a bad run, and then you just get 3 bad runs in a row, and that's it. And then you just kind of have to start over. There's like fuck all you can do. Like just suffer, bro. Like straight up. And this is like I can't even imagine that anyone would ever get to the point where they have like a buffer where they can just like sell a bunch of extra shit that they have and then be fine. Like I feel like there's just too much bullshit. There's too many enemies. There's too much like there's just so many weather effects and all these enemies that just kind of one shot you, and you just can't really do anything about them. With especially when you have to restart and you're at like a low level and you don't have any fucking gear. It's really demotivating and it kind of sucks ass, and I hate that this happens a lot whenever I play. But and this is a big, thick mannequin booty. I really do fuck with the atmosphere of the game. It's fucking magnificent. Now, I know Plasmophobia really popularized the idea of proximity voice chat, but this might be the best implement of proximity voice chat. Just ever, straight up. It was always meant for horror, but this is like next level. Like, just there is this moment of just pure original comedy when someone gets scared and you hear them run and they just run right past you and you hear their screams come and then go. It's so fucking funny. It will always be fucking funny. Especially when you're like, oh god, and someone screams and then their mic cuts out because you know they just fucking died. There is really something to it. And it's like, if it was just that, and then yet the game was not frustrating, I mean, hell, fuck, it might actually beat Mario 64 co-op for like the most novel multiplayer experience I had this year. But unfortunately, Mario 64 was a little more impactful to me. So sorry, the company will take second place of a category I just made up. So whoops, bozo. Sorry. Now, Half-Life Blue Shift. So just like Half-Life Opposing Force, I had picked this game up because it was like, oh wow, and I got like halfway through and I put it down, and then I picked up Opposing Force. So I was like, maybe I like this one more. And I did like Opposing Force more, but I mean, Blue Shift was still pretty good. I mean, it's alright, it was not like crazy. It's just like, yep, here's some more Half-Life. Cool. Enjoy some more Half-Life, bitch. And then you play some more Half-Life. You have some fun. You play as Barney Calhoun, who's like the GOAT. And it's weird he don't be talking in this game. But, he's out here in this shit. And we... Ugh. And then... Lionel? Oh, cool. I'm just recording a video.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, anyway. Sorry. Yes, so... Barney Calhoun. He's got a fun name. I like him. At the end of the day, though, does it really matter? Because Nick All-Star Brawl 2. Now, I have this weird relationship where I like Smash Brothers a lot, and yet every single Smash clone that comes out, I kind of fucking hate. Like low key, I kind of hate them all. I don't like multiverses. I don't like Nick All Star Brawl 1. I don't even like Rivals of Aether that much. Like, it's kind of crazy. I just think a lot of them miss the inherent charm of Smash Brothers. There's this, like, satisfaction to it. And lo and behold, the first one, I think, that really gets it right is Nick All-Star Brawl 2 of all things. They really like stepped up their fucking game. Nick All-Star Brawl 1 was rough as shit. It had some cool characters in it, don't get me wrong. It was just novel as fuck to see SpongeBob doing a wave dash. But now that that novelty is over, the new novelty is that this game is good. Like, it's real good. Like, I like this game a lot. No, it's buggy as fuck, don't get me wrong. It's not well balanced at all. It definitely got some issues, and it's definitely like there's too many close range characters. There's like no like sword users at all. There's like Donatello. That's kind of it, really. Like every other character is kind of a brawler, and that's okay. It's just kind of like, where's the range variety? There's like zoners, there's like proper like projectile camper type beat characters, but most everyone just fights with their fists. And I guess Ong uses a bow staff occasionally, but that's kind of it. Like, what the hell, bro? What's going on here? Also, DLC picks are weird. Why are we not getting any more franchises? Why are we just getting the same, but just some more characters? Like, Iroh and Zuko as DLC. Like, we already have. That makes 3 firebenders. And if you want to count the fact that the other 2 characters are the avatars and can bend fire, every single fucking avatar rep is a fucking firebender. That's lame as fuck. Yo, put some fucking, like, don't get me wrong. I love Iroh. I love Zuko. They're probably some of my favorite avatar characters. But I also like Azula more than both of them, and I was happy that she was in the game and not either of them. And now all 3 of them are in the game. That's cool, I guess. Weird choice. Korra getting shafted again. But other than that, yeah, Mr. Krabs is cool though. I do like Mr. Krabs. He's real as fuck. I do just think this game gets Smash Brothers the most. I think it just really has the most going for it. I think the voices, like obviously right out the gate, the voices, great idea. Great idea to have like a proper real deal voice cast. And they're really like, I don't want to say they're giving it their A game because they're kind of not. Some of these guys are phoning it in a little bit, I'm not going to lie. And the dialogue itself isn't great, but it is very nice hearing these characters actually say something. And that's the one thing I think Multiverses might have done a little better, is I think that the character interactions themselves are more interesting. But it is very nice that there's an actual adventure mode, and the adventure mode does actually tell a story. And most characters are voice acted for it. And it's a roguelite, which, I mean, that's pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. That's actually a really cool idea. And I had a lot of fun with it. Eventually you get to a point where you can just kind of steamroll it. And then you kind of have to start from the beginning. But, whatever. I had a lot of fun with it. So it's no big deal. I think it's weird because, like, there's, like, absolutely no Fairly Odd Parents reps at all. And, at first I was thinking, okay, so Danny Phantom, okay, cool, they got his ass. But so obviously Butch Hartman has some problem with it. But, like, Butch Hartman's still credited in this game because, he helped make Danny Phantom. And the Danny Phantom rep on this is insane. I mean, like, the main villain is Vlad Plasmius. I mean, like, 2 Danny Phantom reps. And yet, still no Fairly Odd Parents. That's so weird. Like, it's not like there's no Fairly Odd Parents characters to pick from. But, anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself because it's like the amount of
fun I actually really had in this game is kind of remarkable. Like I was legit like, yeah, this is fun. I'm out here. I enjoyed playing. I think Plankton is a really unique archetype for a heavy, where he is weak on the ground, but he actually has really good air control, and he can actually get a lot of shit done in the air as a heavy character, and it's a really fun bit. Like, I love that. I think slime canceling is fucking awesome. Like, okay, going back to Plankton, he's not my main or anything. I just the most cool thing you can do with Plankton is his side B, which I call Plank Temkin Buster, because it's literally just Potemkin Buster, but you are playing as Plankton, so whatever. And he turns around and slams you on the ground. Uh, is he grabs you, and then you go flying up in the air, and then right as you hit the ground, which does all the damage, by the way, you slime cancel into another one, and you just do another one, and you deal like fucking 50 damage on a single slime cancel, and it's so fucking satisfying. I think my main currently is probably Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot, just because I had a crush on her as a kid, and I think she's like awesome. So obviously I play her, and she plays like Ness a little bit, so that's pretty cool. I like Ness, so I like her. So cool. And I like that one of her moves is she throws a tantrum. I think that's very funny. So good on her. And also the Nora Wakeman's in here, and you can fucking deal with her too. It's fun. It's a good game. I like this game. I don't know if I will play it again anytime soon, because now I'm playing Guilty Gear, and I'm having more fun playing Guilty Gear. But maybe I'm just kind of burnt out with Smash Brothers because I played it for so long. But as it stands, this is the closest a game has ever gotten to making me feel what I feel for Smash Brothers. So, hell yeah. And then after Nick All-Star Brawl, I played a game of similar quality, Germa's Big Adventure. This game was very interesting. It has one of the more unique platforming aspects to it. It has the Germa roll, which is a great piece of, because it actually preserves momentum if you jump into it, and you can cancel out of it at the same time. It has really interesting movement tech applications, which they actually explore in this game that is like 45 minutes to beat if you want to go out of your way to do some secret stuff. So I was kind of impressed by that. It was kind of interesting. Yeah, but I don't know what else to say about this. It's sort of a joke game where you play as a bunch of cardboard cutout Germas. Green screen Germas put into a game where you get to play as Germa, and your big thing is hitting things back by timing your hits correctly, and it's good fun. Honestly, it's really nothing special, but it's manages to be a lot with very little, so I have to kind of respect it for that. And what else was I gonna say? What else is there to say? Play fucking Germa's Big Adventure, I guess. It's fucking free. What else are you fucking doing with your stupid ass life? Next up, I played Undertale Yellow, and I loved it. Lionel, get out of here. I'm about to spoil Undertale Yellow.
Oh, I have had fun then. It's fine.
Okay. Good.
I'll just turn it off.
Okay, thank you. So, Undertale Yellow. Talk about a game I was hyped for. I had heard about it because it was one of those one of the people I commissioned art of for. I noticed he had been working on. I commissioned this guy like once. He had been working on Undertale Yellow as one of the artists. And so I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then the game took fucking forever to come out, which is fine because it's definitely warranted a lot of that time in the oven. It was cooking, all right, and it cooked. A mighty cook. It's a good fucking game, dude. It's cool as hell. I love this game. I love Martlet. I think she's my lovely, lovely girl, my beloved Martlet. I think that's how you say her name. I don't even know. I mean, no one's exactly saying the names out loud. But she's my beloved bird. She's very cute. I like her. I like that this is gonna sound weird. Undertale Yellow has the fucking Better Call Saul approach, where it retroactively makes the original game better by doing something real interesting with how, it has some characters, but not like the main players. And whenever the main players show up from Undertale, it's only in like a way that makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, here's this character, and here's this character, and here's this character. And they're only here for a little bit, but their presence is felt, and it's not just like, oh wow, it's them, oh wow, look, look, look. It's really an interesting vibe, and I like it a lot. As for, and the big spoiler is that the final bosses are really sick. Like, there are no Sans Undertale, and I didn't even do the genocide just because I knew once I figured out it was Martlet, I was like, I don't want to do this. I like Martlet so much, and I watched the video of her fucking suffering and dying, and I felt the anguish of Undertale all over again. It wasn't anywhere near as close as killing a bread bug on accident in Pikmin 4. That is still the saddest moment of 2023 for gaming. But, I mean, watching Martlet beg for her fucking life as she just wants a little more time to attempt to kill the person who's genociding her people is like, I mean, that's some devastating shit, dude. It's fucked up, dude. Yeah. But I did the passive ascending because I knew what I was getting into, and I was very happy by it. And I'm glad that it was very good. And I really... Okay, one thing that I found that was kind of weird is that in the original Undertale, all of the bosses are like puzzles. You have to figure out how to spare the bosses. But in Undertale Yellow, all the bosses, if you want to spare them, are like endurance rounds. You have to just kind of wait out their attacks. And to an extent, I get this, but after a while, it's just like, okay, so what am I doing for my turn? I'm just kind of hoping I didn't take any damage, I guess. Like, that was the kind of loop you got in Undertale, was the puzzle aspect of it. Then I have to do this. Then I have to do this. Then I have to do this. And if I take damage and I heal, that puts me back, because then instead I have to spend an action healing. Whereas in Undertale Yellow, it's just like, well, I guess I can heal. I'm not really doing anything else. I'm just kind of acting and looking at the same three fucking responses for the same three acts all over again. It's really no big deal. I could just hit spare all over and over again if I really want to make it go quick. But it didn't really matter. I had a good time. I did. At the end of the day, Undertale Yellow was totally worth the hype, because that's really my only complaint. I love that it's like the Mother 3 to Earthbound too. Like, it has more fluid animation, but only after you dodge the tutorial fake out, and all of a sudden you can run. Everything's so much more vibrant and colorful. It really does feel like the Mother 3 to Earthbound's Undertale. Undertale's Earthbound, I should say. But who is it really? Because, you know. Anyway, so, and then the final game I played this year was Frog Fractions, Game of the Decade edition. I played the Hat DLC, and I beat the Hat DLC, because the Hat DLC adds a whole fucking weirdo campaign to it, where it's like you go from a point-and-click adventure to a Toho platformer, to a Toho bullet hell, to like a Dig Dug clone. There's a lot of different variety in this game. This game's weird as hell, and it's like, it's the last bastion of the Flash era, where it's one of those games where it's like, oh, this is a nerd game for like doing homework and shit, and it's actually just like a weird parody of those games, and I like that a lot. I think it's really funny. But as a game to end the year on, I mean, it was kind of whatever. I wasn't like, wow, man, thank God I got this done before the decade and before the year fucking ended. I was just like, yep, that's about right. It was a fun game. And then New Year's happened. New Year. So, yeah, that was my list for this year. As you can see, I did a little doodle for it. It's doing a shitty Photoshop, but I think I kept the spirit of the shitty Photoshop alive by not, like, drawing it properly. So, hey, you know, I guess my art is kind of improving. I like to think, at least. But I'm just kind of drawing recreationally. I don't plan to sell any of this stuff. So, I just feel like I'm already a writer for like money, so I'm not crazy about any of this stuff. But yeah, that was 2024. Well, it was 2023. May 2024, bring many a new videos. I feel bad because I only released like 3 videos last year that weren't that, and it's just like only one of them I actually put a lot of effort into. So I always feel like I should just get on that video grind, and I did end up planning a lot of videos out. So we'll see if any of those actually come out. No promises, but I want to try and make some videos again this year, just because I just miss making videos. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I'm gonna sign off. Here's to another year of games.